Chapter 1409. It was incomparably painful to be trampled on by others. Soon, the team stopped in front of a house. Ning Shu was carried in. In the hall, Alan, who was carrying a giant sword, looked at Ning Shu. "It's really annoying not to understand." "Just kill him," he said with some distress. As Alan spoke, he raised his hand and touched the hilt of the sword on his back, as if he wanted to slash Ning Shu with a sword. Ning Shu, sure enough, he was ruthless. Ning Shu said, "Let me out first and I'll tell you." Alan heard Ning Shu speak and simply pulled out his giant sword. The Grandmaster Craftsman was covered with battle chi, and Alan's eyes were eager to try, as if he wanted to cut Ning Shu. "Ning Shu, normal. Since you can understand, why did you pretend to be deaf and dumb before?" Alan asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu said, "I'm so scared that I don't dare to say it." Alan stared at Ning Shu. "You don't look like you're afraid." "Sir, this slave challenged your dignity. You can't let her go easily." The servant, whose arms were as soft as noodles, said viciously. Alan's expression was indifferent. Ning Shu asked, "Do you have any skills?" Ning Shu nodded. "I will." Alan took 2 steps towards Ning Shu, dragging the giant sword in his hand. The giant sword left a mark on the ground. "What can you do?" Alan asked with a look of surprise. "Or do you have any treasures on you?" It was said that a slave of Duke Gar could disappear into thin air and appear again after a while. At the banquet, Duke Gar would ask the slave to perform the technique of disappearing into thin air. Alan hoped that the female slave he bought would have a skill that would make his face shine. It would be best if he could offer this female slave to the princess if she was more elegant and good-looking. As a knight of the princess, Alan hoped to be able to suppress another knight. Ning Shu said, "You have to let me out first before I can perform for you." "Sir, this female slave must be lying to you. Why don't you brand her first?" The servant said to Alan. "Shut up." Alan scolded coldly. If this female slave really had any skills, he wanted to give it to the princess. How could he give a slave with a brand to the princess? Alan raised his giant sword, which was covered with a layer of white light. With a clang, the lock on the iron cage was split open. Ning Shu's pupils shrank, but his expression did not change. Although Alan did not very domineeringly split the entire cage, he only split the lock. This showed that Alan had a very delicate and skillful grasp of power. This Alan is not weak. Ning Shu estimated the difference in strength between him and Alan and silently pushed open the iron cage door. He came out of the cage. "Damn, it's like a bird cage, squatting and pooping inside. My legs are numb." Ning Shu hammered his own legs. His legs were numb like needles. "You can start the performance now." Alan sat down and looked at Ning Shu with his hands in front of his chest. Ning Shu held onto the cage. "Wait, my legs are numb. Let me rest for a while." He quickly cultivated a little bit of qi in his dantian. The power of the fire sun and the spiritual energy were absorbed, and the dantian was a mess. Ning Shu wondered if he could beat Alan. Ning Shu glanced at Alan's giant sword and felt a little worried. "I advise you not to play tricks. You're my slave now. You can't escape from my palm." Alan warned Ning Shu. Ning Shu immediately said, "How could that be? I don't dare to play any tricks." Ning Shu rubbed his legs and thought, "Okay, you can start." Alan was a little impatient and touched the hilt of his sword. Ning Shu thought for a moment and released a fire dragon. However, this fire dragon was very small and pocket-sized. The fire dragon's body was burning with flames. It was lifelike and swam in the air. "What is this?" Alan asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu put away the fire dragon. The fire dragon turned into energy and merged into his dantian. "I'm asking you what this is. This thing shouldn't be alive, right?" Alan asked. Ning Shu nodded. "It's not alive. However, give me some time. This fire dragon can still grow." Alan stared at Ning Shu, trying to see if Ning Shu was lying. "If you dare to lie to me, I will make your life worse than death." Ning Shu nodded. "I won't lie to you. Go in." Alan pointed at the cage. Ning Shu was speechless. "I still have to go in?" "Of course. Until you can release a bigger." "What is that?" Dragon. Dragons don't look like this. The dragon here was a lizard dragon, a dragon with large wings. Ning Shu's dragon was a 5-clawed dragon. I'm hungry now. I want to eat. I'm also sleepy. I want to sleep. Moreover, I want to solve my physiological needs. Why did you lock me up? I can't run away. Ning Shu didn't expect Alan to be so vigilant. You can eat, drink, and sleep inside. Bullshit. Try eating, drinking, and sleeping in a cage that is only half the height of a person. You are just my slave. Wherever I tell you to be, you will do whatever I tell you to do. You have no right to bargain with me. I don't want a disobedient slave. If you are disobedient, I can only kill you. Alan held the hilt of the sword. The giant sword was covered with a layer of white do-chi. Who are you trying to scare? Ning Shu's expression was indifferent as he bent down and entered the cage. Even if he was in a cage, he could still cultivate. He could cultivate anywhere. When she mastered her divine arts, not to mention a cage. Even if Alan slashed her with a giant sword, she could still catch the blade with her bare hands. Lock it up, Alan said to the servant. The servant went to get the key with a shaky arm. The servant took a big lock. Alan personally locked the cage and put away the key. Ning Shu calmly sat cross-legged in the cage. Previously, she had been squatting. It was more comfortable to sit cross-legged and cultivate peerless martial arts faster. After all, sitting cross-legged was the standard cultivation posture. When Alan went out, he even locked the door. Ning Shu was the only one left in the room. Ning Shu closed her eyes and began to cultivate. She felt a pair of eyes staring at her. Ning Shu had no scruples. Anyway, when she was strong, she would definitely leave here. And before she left, she must have a fight with Alan. If she didn't fight and beat Alan down, she wouldn't be able to run away. It was a pity that this world couldn't take out the ruby ring. The things from the previous world couldn't appear in this world. If there was a ruby ring, it would directly annihilate Alan. Ning Shu wasn't discouraged. Even if there wasn't a ruby ring, she was confident that she could deal with Alan. When the gaze that was sizing her up disappeared, Ning Shu made a hand seal and set up a yang gathering array. Cultivation could be twice the result with half the effort. After the yang gathering array was set up, the surrounding fire energy rushed over and rushed into Ning Shu's dantian. With this kind of cultivation, she could quickly become strong. It felt great. Chapter 1410. Ning Shu was locked up in the house. Even when it was time for dinner, no one came to bring her food. Ning Shu touched her hungry stomach and released her spiritual power to see if anyone was watching her. She silently chanted the word, fasting pill, in her heart, and a round fasting pill appeared in her palm. The fasting pill turned into a warm current as soon as it entered her mouth, and the warm current flowed into her limbs and bones, and she was finally not hungry anymore. Sure enough, she would not panic if she was prepared in advance. After eating the fasting pill, Ning Shu began to cultivate. There was already qi in her dantian, and the shape of qi appeared. Ning Shu did not know how long she had been cultivating, and she did not know how long she had been cultivating when she heard the sound of the door opening. Ning Shu opened her eyes and saw Alan. Alan stared at Ning Shu in the cage. It's been a day and a night. How can you still be energetic? Are you meditating, or are you a mage? Was the fire dragon you released before a fire magic? Alan asked several questions. Ning Shu shook his head. I'm not a mage. That fire dragon was just a sideshow. Can you let me take care of it? It's big. Are you sure you want me to pull it in the house? Ning Shu asked Alan. Then pull it in, Alan said lightly. Ning Shu, why the hell? I don't believe you. Alan stared straight at Ning Shu. I believe in my intuition. I want to kill you now. Ning Shu, don't be impulsive. It's actually intuition. But Alan's intuition was right. Sure enough, people who wandered in danger were not good people. How could such a person love a woman to death? Or a slave? Ning Shu shrank into the corner of the cage. I didn't do anything out of line. Alan snorted. How old is the fire dragon now? Ning Shu released the fire dragon, and it was still as big as before. Alan stared at the fire dragon. It's too much like fire magic. you're not honest. Alan took out a big lock and locked the cage again. Ning Shu was speechless. This cage is made of 9 heaven star iron. You can't get out without the key. Alan's deep and sharp eyes stared at Ning Shu. Until you tell me the truth. What truth? Ning Shu asked. Everything about you, you are my slave. As your master, everything about you is my master. Don't challenge my patience. Ning Shu pursed her lips. Alan didn't believe her at all. That's right, Alan would be a fool to believe her. She didn't believe Alan either. Alan took a black cloth and put it on the cage. The cage was instantly pitch black. Moreover, there were still water droplets dripping outside the cage. Alan must have done it on purpose. This kind of dripping sound could cause a lot of pressure in people's hearts when it was quiet. In the quiet, confined and narrow place, the water dripped down. Furthermore, the water droplet was dripping on her face. People would subconsciously think about when the next drop of water would fall. After a long time, people would collapse. Ning Shu moved to the side, and the water dripped on the ground, dripping rhythmically. When you tell me the truth, I'll let you out. Ning Shu rolled her eyes and heard Alan's footsteps and the sound of the door closing. Ning Shu didn't care about the dripping sound of the water and sat down cross-legged to cultivate. However, there was always a dripping sound in his ears, making him feel very irritated, very irritated. This kind of criminal law was completely psychological. Ning Shu immediately shielded her ears, not wanting to listen to the dripping sound. Ning Shu had been cultivating non-stop. So what if it was 9 heaven star iron? A cage was nothing at all. The next morning, Ning Shu was still cultivating. The black cloth on the cage was removed, and the light was very strong. Ning Shu blocked the light with her hand and looked at Alan with narrowed eyes. This person is really annoying. The servant behind Alan carried the dishes, and Ning Shu smelled the smell of roasted whole sheep. It was a little sweet, probably brushed with honey. His saliva was about to fall. However, Ning Shu was very calm. She had eaten a lot of things, even garbage, not to mention roasted whole sheep. I haven't eaten for 3 days. Do you want to eat something? Alan looked at Ning Shu and couldn't help but narrow his eyes. Why did it look like nothing had happened at all? His eyes were calm, his face was rosy, and he was full of energy. You're a slave. Ning Shu nodded. I want to eat. Will you give it to me? There's no free lunch in this world. Do you want to tell me your secret? Ning Shu nodded and waved to Alan. Come here, I'll tell you a secret. Alan frowned, but he still passed. Ning Shu grabbed the cage and said to Alan seriously, Actually, my soul is a man, but after transmigrating into this body, I feel that I have found myself. It turns out that I have always wanted to be a woman. Alan. Ning Shu clearly saw the goosebumps on Alan's neck and face, and his hair stood on end. This is your secret? Ning Shu nodded. Alan's eyes became very strange, as if he had seen a big pervert. He couldn't imagine a man in a woman's body. Pour this out and feed it to the magical beast. Alan said to the servant directly. He was probably disgusted by Ning Shu, and he fed the dog instead of Ning Shu. The servant smiled and took the food away. Alan stopped him. Right, bring the hellhound to me. Ning Shu, why bring the dog here? Do you want to fuck it? Alan sat down, and Ning Shu said, Let's play a game. Ning Shu, I refuse. The servant quickly brought a dog, and this dog was mutated. It had 3 heads and its whole body was pitch black. Its saliva dripped on the ground and made a sizzling sound. The 3 heads looked around. Wouldn't the 3 heads make the body disobey? Alan waved at the hellhound, and the hellhound whimpered and went to sleep at Alan's feet. Alan patted the hellhound's 3 heads and pointed at Ning Shu. Tear her to pieces. The hellhound's 3 heads turned to look at Ning Shu in the cage, and 3 pairs of 6 eyes stared at Ning Shu at the same time. The hellhound bared its teeth and whimpered. It bent down and was about to charge at Ning Shu. Ning Shu patted his chest. I'm so scared. This was the first time he saw a 3-headed dog. Even the howling celestial dog wasn't this powerful. He heard that this kind of magical beast guarded hell. My hellhound is very fierce. You will be torn to pieces. It's not too late for you to say it now. Alan said. Ning Shu said very sincerely, "I've told you my most secret things. What else do you want me to say?" When Alan heard the word me from Ning Shu's mouth, goosebumps rose all over his body. His mind automatically conjured up the image of a burly man, bashfully talking about him, with a bashful look on his face as he tucked his hair behind his ear and stared at him shyly. It was really an unstoppable chill. Chapter 14:11. This group of otherworldly people really had no integrity at all. A man could live in a woman's body, and a woman could live in a man's body. Alan felt that he might never be able to tell whether a transmigrator slave was a man or a woman in the future. Go bite her to death. Alan didn't even look at Ning Shu as he pointed at the cage and said to the hellhound. The hellhound walked over to Ning Shu, revealing its sharp yellow teeth, and bared its teeth fiercely at Ning Shu. Although the three heads looked a little scary, Ning Shu wasn't afraid at all when he saw the hellhound baring its teeth and looking extremely fierce. It was both threatening and bluffing, which meant that the dog was weak in its heart. Ning Shu sat steadily in the cage and watched as the hellhound came over. The servant opened the cage and let the hellhound in. Humans and beasts fought in a small cage. Just thinking about it was bloody and exciting. The hellhound lingered at the door of the cage, but it didn't enter. Ning Shu bared his teeth, tucked his tail, bent his body, and the hair on his back stood up. Even if the hellhound stood at the door of the cage and roared, it still refused to enter. "What did you do?" Ning Shu asked when Alan saw that the hellhound was afraid. Ning Shu said innocently, "I didn't do anything." Ning Shu saw that the cage door was open and immediately bent down to get out of the cage. When the hellhound at the door of the cage saw Ning Shu, it immediately ran away with its tail between its legs and hid behind Alan. Alan was speechless. Alan felt that his face had been completely lost by the dog. He didn't see a bloody scene, but the hellhound was frightened. Alan looked at Ning Shu warily. To be able to scare the hellhound like this, there must be something on his body. It must be some treasure. A magical beast's perception was very sharp. When Alan saw that Ning Shu was about to come out of the cage, he immediately closed the cage and locked it. Ning Shu was speechless. "Can you not be like this? Take the hellhound down and do it another way," Alan said to the servant. The servant smiled sinisterly and left with the hellhound. When they returned, there was another person carrying a load behind them. She didn't know what was in the two baskets. As soon as he entered, he smelled a strong stench and hissing sounds. The servant removed the cover on the basket, and Ning Shu saw a basket of snakes entwined together. The colors were colorful and intertwined with each other. Ning Shu was speechless. This thing was even more terrifying than the Cerberus. Ning Shu could feel that the hellhound wasn't very powerful. He guessed that it was a young magic beast. But these snakes, Ning Shu was so disgusted that he had goosebumps all over his body. His intense fear was acting up. Were they going to use all kinds of tortures on her? "What do you have on you?" "Hand it over," Alan said. Ning Shu shook his head. "Nothing." Ellen couldn't have thought that she had some kind of external treasure on her, right? She did have something, but she took it out from the system space. Moreover, she would not give her things to Alan. Ning Shu shrugged. "There's nothing." Alan waved at the servant. The servant immediately asked the servant to carry the basket. He directly tipped the basket over, and the densely packed snakes poured into the cage through the gaps. The densely packed snakes smashed onto Ning Shu's body. They wriggled on her body, spitting out their scarlet forked tongues. It was smelly and disgusting. Ning Shu was speechless. These snakes are highly venomous. Being bitten by them is extremely painful, and you won't die immediately, Alan said. Another basket of snakes fell down. There were densely packed snakes twisting their bodies in the cage. Ning Shu reached out and grabbed the snake that was about to bite him. With a tug of his hand, he tore the snake into two halves. Blood splattered out. Alan wasn't surprised at all when he saw this scene. Alan wasn't surprised that someone who could scare the hellhound would do anything, especially when he saw Ning Shu tear the snake on his body into two halves without batting an eyelid. Alan felt that there was a man's soul inside this woman's skin. That woman could be so calm in the face of such a thing. He was just short of chewing the snake. Ning Shu smiled at Alan and released her energy. The snake in the cage was cut into 2 pieces the moment it was about to come towards her. Half of the snake's body twisted. For a moment, the room was filled with the smell of blood. Alan raised his eyebrows and nodded. "You have some ability." Ning Shu brushed her hair. "I have more ability." "What ability?" Alan sat on the chair and leaned back. "Show me." Ning Shu moved her wrist and half-squatted. Then she pulled the iron rod of the cage with one hand. She sank into her dantian to bend the iron rod so that she could get out. Ning Shu's face turned red, but she didn't succeed. "Ning Shu, so awkward." "I'm joking with you." Ning Shu spread her hands. She didn't expect this 9 heaven stars iron to be so hard. "Is there something wrong with your brain?" Alan narrowed his eyes. "I've said it before. No one can open the 9 heaven stars iron cage." Alan touched his giant sword. "Have you thought it through?" Ning Shu pushed the snake's corpse away and sat down. "I don't have anything." Ning Shu swore. "I don't know what you're talking about. I know that you people from another world have some ability. I don't believe that you don't have any ability." "Yes, I have more strength," Ning Shu said as if it was a matter of fact. Alan couldn't help but rub his eyebrows. He felt that this woman, this man, was neither a man nor a woman. There was something wrong with her brain. It was simply difficult to communicate. The veins on Alan's forehead twitched. He felt that his whole person was not good. He was simply retarded. Ning Shu sat cross-legged in the cage. Her body was operating the peerless martial arts. The spirit energy and the power of the fire sun rushed into her body. Whatever Alan said, she just nodded. If she had the time, she might as well cultivate. It showed that she didn't open the 9 heaven stars iron cage. But when she was stronger, she would definitely be able to open it. She just didn't know what else Alan would use to torture her. Alan saw that Ning Shu didn't move and wasn't anxious. It was as if he had found a rather interesting toy and wanted to play with it. Ning Shu was more miserable. She had to face Alan's torture every day. A new trick every day, vowing to torture Ning Shu's spirit until it broke down. Alan didn't know where he found the magical beast bee. Being stung by this kind of bee would be extremely painful. His body was densely packed with bees. Ning Shu was so angry that she almost jumped up. There was really no end to it. Ning Shu looked at Alan, who was standing at the side and watching the show. She was really impatient. Chi sank into her dantian. She stretched out a fist. Her fist had a roaring dragon head. She punched towards the cage. The cage shook. The 9 heaven stars iron bent. Ning Shu arched out of the cage. Alan's eyebrows twitched. He pulled out his giant sword. Chapter 14:12. Alan held the giant sword, which was covered with white do chi. Alan raised the giant sword and Ning Shu slashed it. The powerful sword energy rushed toward Ning Shu. A huge fire dragon gushed out of Ning Shu's back, swimming quickly in the air and colliding with the sword energy. With a bang, the room exploded, and even the tiles were lifted up. Ning Shu clenched his fist and rushed toward him. Alan blocked Ning Shu's fist with his sword, and Ning Shu took 2 steps back. Behind him, a bigger fire dragon roared out and crashed into Alan. Alan was slammed into the wall, and the wall collapsed, raising a cloud of dust. Alan covered his heart and spat out a mouthful of blood, staring at Ning Shu with fear in his eyes. If he had known earlier, he would have killed the slave earlier so that he wouldn't have been bitten back. Alan released his spiritual power, which rushed directly into Ning Shu's mind. This was a contract, and then the life and death of the slave was in his mind. This kind of contract was used by knights to contract magical beasts, such as dragons. That's how the Dragon Knight came about. Alan's spiritual power was not weak, and he did not contract other magical beast partners at all because Alan did not want to be so casual. Instead, he wanted to contract the most powerful dragon. Although he knew that the dragon was powerful and his strength was not enough, Alan would rather be without it. What he signed with Ning Shu was a master and servant contract. If the master died, the servant would die, and the servant would die. If the servant died, it would have no effect on the master at all. Ning Shu suddenly felt as if his mind was being pricked by needles. It was very uncomfortable, and there was a consciousness forcing her to obey. Don't resist, obey him. At first, his head hurt like a needle, and the pain was so bad that his head was about to explode. Now he felt like a spring breeze, incomparably intimate. Ning Shu sneered and was about to counterattack when something hit him from behind. His internal organs were displaced, and his blood was surging. Ning Shu looked back and saw Alan's servant holding the chair with both hands. He looked at Ning Shu with fear and hatred in his eyes. It was obvious that he hated Ning Shu for breaking his arm. Ning Shu struck the servant's chest with his palm. The servant was immediately sent flying and fell to the ground, vomiting blood. This servant was also the person Wu Xiaolan wanted to take revenge on. He tortured Wu Xiaolan every night. Even if Wu Xiaolan was feeling unwell and couldn't take it, she couldn't even rest. At that time, Wu Xiaolan no longer had any romantic thoughts in her heart. What handsome guy. She only wanted to live with dignity. She had the confidence to say no. She could refuse to be hurt by others and retaliate. Ning Shu's palm strike was very heavy, enough to shatter the servant's internal organs. If he was lucky, he might live, but if he was unlucky, he would die. Was she going to let others hurt her? Ning Shu released a powerful spiritual force and directly counterattacked Alan's spiritual force. He directly used the most violent method to directly meet Alan's spirit. Alan immediately spat out a blood mist. His face was incomparably pale, and he covered his head in incomparable pain. The fire dragon directly crashed into Alan. This time, she wanted to kill Alan. Kill him and be done with it. If she didn't have some ability, hellhounds, poisonous snakes, bees, and all kinds of torture would take turns. Not to mention slaves, she now had the strength to beat Alan down. Alan saw the fire dragon rushing towards him and immediately dodged. The fire dragon turned a corner and rushed towards Alan. Alan knew that he couldn't do anything to Ning Shu. He directly took out a spatial magic scroll and disappeared in an instant. Damn, Ning Shu cursed in his heart. There was actually such a thing. Alan didn't know where he had been teleported to. Mages were very precious, spatial mages were even more precious. Spatial magic scrolls were very precious things. They were equivalent to a mage releasing a spell. He didn't expect Alan to have such a thing. If you don't kill a snake, you will be bitten. Ning Shu saw that things were already like this. He felt that someone was coming here, so he could only withdraw first. Ning Shu jumped on the back of the fire dragon. The fire dragon roared, rushed out of the room, and hid in the clouds. Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the back of the fire dragon, thinking about where to go next. This world was so big, there were many species, there were elves, mermaids, dwarves. There were many species, vast areas, maybe there were many treasures, maybe there was the origin of the world. Moreover, her current strength wasn't very good. When she was stronger, she would go back to find Alan. If she knew a little bit of spatial law, she wouldn't have been run away by Alan. Ning Shu felt that his strength was too monotonous. It was just a peerless martial arts. If he didn't develop in other aspects, he might lose an arm or a leg. He couldn't go far at all. She had to master a rule, whether it was space or time. It would be best if it was the law of time. The law of time was the most powerful. Time could make everything pale in comparison. Time stood still, time passed, time went back. Ning Shu's saliva dripped down as she thought about it. Let's not talk about the profound law of time reversal. If she could control time stop, she would have an absolute advantage in battle. Moreover, Ning Shu felt that although this world was prosperous, it was already in danger. With so many transmigrators, the laws were being damaged again and again. This continent had formed a large-scale transmigrator slave house, big and small, which meant that there were many transmigrators and some that had not been discovered. Out of the bustling city and into the wilderness, the fire dragon slowly sank. Ning Shu jumped down, and the fire dragon turned into energy and entered his dantian. Ning Shu smelled the clear air and felt very carefree. He felt that his heart was about to fly out of his chest. This carefree feeling was shared by Ning Shu and Wu Xiaolan. Wu Xiaolan was locked in the house like a forbidden animal. She was worse than a dog that could walk around freely. Ning Shu had been locked in a small cage during this time and couldn't even straighten his back. He was also tortured by Alan in all kinds of ways to make her hand over the cheat. Now, looking at the vast forest, Ning Shu really wanted to howl to the sky to express the carefree feeling in his heart. However, if there were any powerful magical beasts in the mountains, he would not provoke them. With the earth as his blanket and the sky as his blanket, Ning Shu lay on the tree branch at night and found something to eat when he was hungry. There were wild fruits and wild animals. At the very least, he had fasting pills. It was no problem for him to not eat for half a month. Ning Shu said, "You have to pay attention to whether there is the origin of the world around me." Ning Shu did not know how to distinguish the origin of the world, so he could only remind 2333. 2333 responded and said, "Let's do the system mission in the next world." Ning Shu, "You don't have any energy again?" Ning Shu asked. How could there be so many system worlds? And Ning Shu did not want to do the system mission for the time being. "No, I just saw that you were working too hard, so I asked you to do something simple," 2333 said considerately. Chapter 1413. When Ning Shu heard 2333's words, he really wanted to laugh at his face. Missions with wild systems were not easy to do at all. It was obviously a shiny cheat, okay? And those systems would grant any request. Missions were hard to come by. 2333 actually said it was easy. He wasn't the one doing the mission, right? Although he now knew that 2333 was a person, Ning Shu still wanted to spit on his face. Ning Shu waved his hand and said, "I don't want to do system missions for now." It was not easy to be a system. He had to grasp the timing of wild systems leaving the host. And he didn't know what those wild systems were capable of. It was very difficult. "Let's wait a little longer," Ning Shu said. 2333 was not disappointed. "Okay. Why were you chosen as a system?" Ning Shu asked. 2333, "I don't remember. I don't remember the past." Oh, he forgot that 2333's memory was erased before he was made into a system. Now he was bored and wanted to talk to 2333 about life. In the end, there was nothing to talk about. Ning Shu sat cross-legged under a tree and made a hand sign to set up a spirit-gathering formation. There was no sun at night, so he would absorb spirit energy. He could absorb both spirit energy and the power of the sun. It was all the same. He would absorb whatever there was. Ning Shu wandered around for a few days and didn't find anything. He didn't even find anything good. Ning Shu took a deep breath. The spirit energy in the air was really refreshing. Just as he closed his eyes and started to cultivate, there was a splash in front of him. Ning Shu opened his eyes and saw 3 people suddenly appear in front of him from the sky. Dust flew up. Ning Shu looked at the people who suddenly appeared expressionlessly. There were 2 familiar faces. The uncle who was running for the funeral and the profiteer with silver hair. She didn't know the other person. "Why did you land in the wilderness?" "I detected a mission enforcer around here. I can order him around," the silver-haired man said. Ning Shu was very familiar with this slow voice. Which mission enforcer is so stupid to accept such a mission? The world is about to collapse. Even if you complete the mission, it's useless. Ning Shu, the mission enforcer, was speechless. The sky was full of stars, and the cool breeze was blowing gently. Ning Shu's heart was very calm, without any fluctuations. These people really knew how to pick the right time. Why didn't they appear when she was in the cage? Now that she had escaped, these people wanted to order her around. A man saw Ning Shu sitting under the tree and walked over. "You must be a mission enforcer." Ning Shu stood up and shook his head. "I'm not." "You are." "All right, I'm Sabi's mission enforcer." "Yo, you're still holding a grudge. Aren't you a fool? You clearly know that this world is about to collapse, yet you're still using your own power to repair it." "You're an excellent mission enforcer," said the man that Ning Shu did not know. Ning Shu chuckled. There was a fragrance on the man's body, as if he had sprayed perfume. It was dark and they were in the forest, so she couldn't see what he looked like. The school doctor uncle was dressed in black. In the dark, it was hard to describe. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't know where he was. The silver-haired man was holding a thick leather book in his hand. This book never left his hand. Seeing these three people, Ning Shu turned and walked away. Although he didn't know what they were here for, he had his own mission. He wasn't here to be their maid. The guy with the fragrance stopped Ning Shu. "Where are you going?" "To poop." "Girls shouldn't be so rude." "I'm a man." The man immediately took a step back. "Why do you have to do this kind of anti-gender mission? Don't you feel awkward? Don't tell me you want to touch the mission enforcer's body and molest her?" Ning Shu was speechless. "There's such a pervert?" Ning Shu asked in disbelief. "Of course there is. Some men want to know what it's like to be a woman. They're curious about what it's like to be a woman," said the fragrant man. Ning Shu was speechless. Why was she talking about this with a man she didn't know? Moreover, this man was so flirtatious. For a man to make himself so fragrant, wasn't he crazy? Ning Shu walked around him and quickly ran away. These three people weren't easy to deal with. They couldn't play together. "You don't want to answer the last question." The silver-haired man closed the book and said to Ning Shu, "Did he recognize her?" "I have my own mission. Let's go our separate ways." Ning Shu said and looked at the school doctor uncle. After being killed by him last time, he still had lingering fears. He didn't want to do the mission with him. Ning Shu looked around and realized that the school doctor uncle was standing somewhere. He couldn't find him if he wasn't dressed in black. In this world, even if you complete the mission, you won't get anything good. "Why don't you follow us? You can get some benefits." The silver-haired man said. "Even if you reverse the situation on behalf of the client, she will be forced to reincarnate. Because all the transmigrators in this world will be forced to reincarnate. They are already dead." Ning Shu. "Then I won't be able to get the soul power that the client offered in this world." The silver-haired man nodded. Ning Shu, 2333. Really? It felt like this trip to this world was for nothing. "Then why are you here? Are you here to force the transmigrators to reincarnate? Kill all the transmigrators." "You don't need to know what we are doing," the silver-haired man said. Ning Shu was silent for a moment and decided to follow them. But since they asked him to follow, there must be something bad waiting for him. Ning Shu knew that these three people were very strong. Even if he couldn't get anything, he wanted to broaden his horizons. These three people were probably here to solve this hopeless world. He didn't know how they were going to solve it. With so many transmigrators, the laws of this world were already messed up. Ning Shu sat on the ground. He didn't care about the three people and began to cultivate. Just like that, the four of them spent the night in silence. Ning Shu opened his eyes and saw three people standing in front of him. A middle-aged man in black, a dignified silver-haired man holding a cowhide book, and a fragrant man wearing a pink shirt with a thick layer of wax on his head. The three of them looked down at Ning Shu from above. Ning Shu rolled his eyes and stood up. "Why are you looking at me?" "Right now, we are going to the elves," the fragrant man said. Ning Shu. "So? Use the fastest method to take us there." Ning Shu. "Why do you want me to think of a way?" The silver-haired man continued. "When we enter the world, our powers will be suppressed to a very low level. We might even have no power. I'm afraid that the world will reject us. We might not even be as good as low-level mission enforcers like you." Ning Shu. "Low-level mission enforcers? Then aren't we useless?" Ning Shu said without holding back. "You can't say that. It's just that our powers are suppressed." The fragrant man shrugged. "What can I say? I'm also helpless." The middle-aged man stared at Ning Shu and asked calmly, "You don't want to?" "Ning Shu, don't look at me like I'm dead." Chapter 14:14. Ning Shu didn't want to be with the three of them, and now they were staring at her with such threatening eyes. Ning Shu said directly, "I don't want to, no matter how cheap you are." Ning Shu turned and left. "You guys are strong, and I'm an ant. I'll go play by the side." Fragrant Wind stopped Ning Shu. Why are you so angry? Don't you want to know how to build a world? The silver-haired man asked. Nope. Yo, you're going to build a world. When Awan was a high-level mission enforcer, she didn't even think about building a world. She only started building it when she became a super mission enforcer, Fragrant Wind said. Who's Awan? Ning Shu asked. Awan. She should be the strongest female mission enforcer, Fragrant Wind said. Ning Shu asked, why didn't she come? That depends on the mission arrangement, Fragrant Wind said. Are you stupid? You don't want the merit that's sent to you for free? The silver-haired man held a thick and exquisite book in his hands. All pretentious originated from the lack of money and love. Do you think we don't respect you? The silver-haired man's hair shone brightly under the sun. He stood there like an ancient and reserved aristocrat. Ning Shu spread his hands. If I'm pretentious and lack money, then he? Ning Shu pointed at the school doctor uncle. Then he's pretentious and lacking love. That's better than you. The weak moan for no reason, the uncle said disdainfully. Ning Shu clicked his tongue. You're very weak now too. Fragrant Wind tugged at Ning Shu. What are you arguing about? How are we going to get to the elves now? Ning Shu said, let's walk. Fragrant Wind touched his hair. Then let's walk. Anyway, I haven't done a mission in a long time. Which direction are we going now? Ning Shu asked. The elves I found are in that direction, the uncle said. He glanced at Ning Shu. It seems like you haven't improved much. Ning Shu, thank you for the compliment. I'm just not forgetting my original intentions, Ning Shu retorted. The uncle placed his hand on his waist and looked down at Ning Shu. Only the weak have more reasons. Ning Shu, pretentious. The four of them headed towards the elf tribe. On the way, Ning Shu asked Fragrant Wind Guy some questions. The school doctor walked in front. His black clothes made him look like a ghost. His whole body was wrapped up tightly. Only a pair of hands and a face could be seen. As for the silver-haired man, she was an unscrupulous merchant. Ning Shu was worried that if he said another word to her, he would lose another few 100,000 points. Although Fragrant Wind looked like a show-off, he seemed to be the easiest person out of the three to get along with. Ning Shu asked what their names were, but Fragrant Wind didn't tell Ning Shu. He just let Ning Shu call them whatever he wanted. Ning Shu didn't ask any more questions. It was probably because she was too weak to know their names. It wasn't enough for them to treat each other as equals and solemnly report each other's names. Therefore, in the team, Ning Shu called everyone, hey 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 hey. Everyone called her, hey hey. The uncle walking in front stopped. Ning Shu waved, but Ning Shu pretended not to see him. Come here, the uncle said. Fragrant Wind Guy pushed Ning Shu. He's calling you. The wind is too strong. I didn't hear anything. Ning Shu walked over. Go straight down this road. There should be a town in front. There should be a transportation tool. Go get one, Ning Shu said. Ning Shu, that he really treated her like a maid. How far is it? Ning Shu asked. It should be a day. Ning Shu. You don't want to? The uncle narrowed his eyes and stared at Ning Shu. There's a crystal dragon hidden in this mountain. You can subdue it and use it as a transportation tool. Ning Shu. You can't even subdue a giant dragon? Ning Shu asked with some disdain. Wasn't he a powerhouse who could even crush space? He looked so weak and helpless. The uncle said calmly, I can, but I don't want to move. I can't subdue a giant dragon, Ning Shu said directly. The uncle looked at Ning Shu as if he was a useless piece of trash. Ning Shu, I'm a piece of trash. Come and bite me. The fire dragon in Ning Shu's dantian could carry people. Since there was nothing to gain in this world, she might as well walk around and see if there was anything to gain. They had their mission, and she had her own things to do. She didn't have to go with them. Forget it, I'll go, Fragrant Wind said. The uncle frowned and stared at Ning Shu. Do you think you should be treated well because you're a woman? I don't think so, Ning Shu said. Then go and catch the dragon, the uncle said coldly. Ning Shu caught the dragon at the place he said. She wasn't strong enough to catch the dragon with her current strength. "Oh right, wash the dragon clean," the uncle said to Ning Shu. Ning Shu, that from beginning to end, the silver-haired man didn't say anything. He just stood there silently. "I'll go with you." Fragrant Wind followed Ning Shu. Ning Shu nodded. "Do you have any grudges with him?" Fragrant Wind asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu nodded. "We've met a few times. He helped me and also killed me." "What did you do to let him kill you?" Fragrant Wind couldn't help but ask. Ning Shu spread her hands. "What can I say? I'm desperate too. He's just being unreasonable." Fragrant Wind shrugged. "Have you finished building your world?" Ning Shu shook her head. Build your own world well. Although you can get rid of the shackles of normal mission enforcers by building a world, there are good and bad worlds. A world that can give birth to living creatures and allow living creatures to survive is a real plane of existence." Ning Shu nodded. "Thank you, I'll remember that." She didn't see what Fragrant Wind looked like last night, but now she did. He was quite good-looking, but there was a lot of wax on his head. Flies would twist their legs if they landed on it. This person should have built a world too. Ning Shu pushed the withered grass and vines aside. She smelled something unpleasant. The smell was very fishy, and there was also the smell of urine. Ning Shu quickened her pace and arrived at a huge cave. In front of the cave, there was a mountain of bones. These bones belonged to humans and animals. Flies were crawling on these bones and buzzing around them. There were also some weapons and shields. A dragon slayer had probably come to challenge the giant dragon. In the end, he was eaten by the giant dragon and turned into poop. There was a stream beside the cave. The crystal dragon that the school doctor said should be in this cave. There was a faint sound coming from the cave. It sounded like snoring. The crystal dragon was probably sleeping inside. Ning Shu said to Fragrant Wind Man, "I'll go then." Fragrant Wind nodded and put his hand behind his head. "I'll keep a lookout for you." Chapter 14-15. Ning Shu walked to the entrance of the cave and cleared his throat. "Hey, evil dragon, come out." Fragrant Wind was speechless. Ning Shu picked up the stones on the ground and threw them into the cave. A hurried sound came from inside, followed by the sound of huge wings flapping. Then, a huge lizard dragon flew out of the cave. This dragon's body was shining brightly, and the scales on its body were translucent and white. Hence, it was called the Crystal Dragon. The dragon flapped its wings. Ning Shu roared angrily. Then, Ning Shu spat out a mouthful of dragon flames. Ning Shu avoided the dragon flames. The dragon flames splashed on the ground and even melted the stones. Ning Shu clenched his fists and jumped onto the back of the crystal dragon. He punched the back of the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon hissed in pain and said in human language, "Despicable human." Ning Shu was surprised. You can talk. It's much easier to communicate if you can talk." "We're going to the elf tribe. Help us," Ning Shu said. "Impudent. How dare you insult the great giant dragon?" The crystal dragon shook its body, trying to throw Ning Shu off its back. Ning Shu punched the crystal dragon's back heavily. The crystal dragon roared in pain and fell heavily to the ground. The entire ground seemed to tremble. Ning Shu cast a spell and froze the crystal dragon's body. Then, he dragged the crystal dragon by its legs and dragged it to the stream. He put it in the water and washed it for a while. The crystal dragon was speechless. Despicable human. Ning Shu carried the huge crystal dragon and walked back. Fragrant Wind patted the crystal dragon. "Not bad." Ning Shu carried the crystal dragon back and saw the school doctor and the silver-haired man standing there without saying anything. The silver-haired man's hair was long and was blown by the breeze. Ning Shu had always felt that he wasn't human. The two of them fought in the forest, as if they were perverts who had walked out of a manga. Ning Shu carried the crystal dragon over and removed the body-securing talisman on the crystal dragon. The uncle sized up the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon squatted on the ground and growled softly. "I think things like demonic beasts are suitable to be placed in your world," the silver-haired man said to Fragrant Wind Man. "My world is only suitable for noble and indifferent races like the elf tribe, Fragrant Wind Man said as he touched his glossy hair, looking handsome and charming. They won't cause any damage to my world. Forget about the humans. I'll leave the humans to you. The destructive power of humans is too strong. The world will collapse because of them. What are you afraid of? You have more than one world. Can't you take out a world to store a magical beast? The silver-haired man said calmly. Ning Shu looked at Fragrant Wind Man in surprise. He didn't expect that this seemingly frivolous and sloppy person had actually constructed so many worlds. She had already spent a lot of effort on just one world. There must be secrets that she couldn't access. Ning Shu threw away the impetuosity in her heart. No matter how strong these people were, she only needed to take one step at a time. There were many powerful people in this world. If she compared herself to everyone, she would tire herself to death and make her mentality unbalanced. I dragged the crystal dragon over, Uncle Ning Shu said. Ning Shu didn't blame him for being cold and heartless. The more training she had now, the more brilliant she would be in the future. The uncle took out the gun at his waist and patted the crystal dragon's head. Be obedient, or you'll be destroyed. Ning Shu saw his gun and took a step back. This gun reminded him of the last time he killed her. It was fine if she was weak, but the weak had no human rights. This time, he didn't want to accidentally kill her. The crystal dragon's chin knocked on the ground as the uncle patted its head. It whimpered. The uncle stood up and wiped the water stains on his hands on the silver-haired man standing beside him. The silver-haired man lowered his head and used his hand to brush the place where the uncle wiped. He didn't say anything. Ning Shu. The four of them jumped onto the crystal dragon's back. The crystal dragon flew up shakily. Its huge wings flapped, creating a huge gust of wind. Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the crystal dragon's back and silently practiced her peerless martial arts. The three of them stood in front, looking pretentious as if they were looking down on the world. Ning Shu blew a breath of air at the three people in front of her. One day, she would become stronger than them. Ning Shu reached out and patted the crystal dragon. The crystal dragon's body immediately jolted, and the three people in front of her immediately tilted. Ning Shu laughed in her heart. She used her hand as a gun and shot at the three people in front of her. The school doctor turned his head and saw Ning Shu pointing a finger at him. Her expression was cold and her eyes were cold and evil. Ning Shu retracted her finger without changing her expression. She shot herself in the head and then lay down on the crystal dragon's back to sleep. The school doctor turned his head and talked to the silver-haired man. Ning Shu opened her eyes. Seeing that the school doctor wasn't paying attention to her, she sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. The crystal dragon that had been flying all this time seemed a little tired. Even the flapping of its wings seemed a little weak. Ning Shu stopped and stood up. She said to the three people in front of her, "The crystal dragon is a little tired. Let's take a rest." Fragrant Wind Man nodded. "Okay, let's take a rest." The crystal dragon flapped its wings and found a place to land. Ning Shu jumped off the crystal dragon's back. The crystal dragon's head knocked on the ground. White smoke came out of its nostrils. Sparks flew out of its nostrils. It looked really tired. "Let's go find something to eat. The crystal dragon is hungry too." Ning Shu and the other two said, "The crystal dragon can hunt by itself. We don't need to eat. If you want to eat, go get it yourself." The uncle said. Ning Shu secretly rolled her eyes. She really didn't like it. Ning Shu patted the crystal dragon's head. "Go find something to eat." Ning Shu found a tree to lean against. She ate a fasting pill. The crystal dragon went to hunt by itself. Ning Shu and Fragrant Wind Man asked, "Is your mission to move the creatures of this world to another world?" Fragrant Wind Man nodded. "The laws of this world can't be repaired. Perhaps the plane will be destroyed tomorrow. There are so many creatures here. We can't let them die. There's also the debris from the plane's collapse. We have to clean it up. Otherwise, the debris will affect the neighboring planes." "Oh," Ning Shu replied and nodded. It looked like the three of them had a big mission this time. After all, this plane was too big. There were many creatures. Other than this, the three of them would definitely get some benefits. After all, they had to use their world. Ning Shu thought to herself. If she encountered any treasure, she would definitely keep it. She couldn't leave this world without anything. She couldn't get a share of Wu Xiaolan's soul power in this world. Even if she counterattacked and Wu Xiaolan was forced to reincarnate. Chapter 14:16. If Wu Xiaolan was forced to reincarnate, then everything she did in this world would be meaningless. Because this world was about to collapse, Wu Xiaolan wouldn't come back. Sigh. The crystal dragon that went hunting came back. There were still traces of flesh and blood at the corner of his mouth, and there was a bloody smell all over his body. After resting for a while, they started on their journey again. The journey was really boring. Fragrant Wind Guy took out his poker cards. Let's play cards. Ning Shu. He even brought poker cards for a mission. Ning Shu moved over and asked, "What are we betting on?" "Power of faith," Fragrant Wind Guy said. Ning Shu silently moved away. She couldn't afford to play this game. "Not playing?" Fragrant Wind Guy Ning Shu asked. Ning Shu quickly waved her hand. Fragrant Wind Guy asked the uncle and the silver-haired guy, "Do you guys want to play?" The silver-haired guy kept flipping through his book. The uncle didn't say anything. Fragrant Wind Guy could only play Train Dragon by himself. Ning Shu cultivated on the side, silently thinking about the information about the elves. The elves were long-lived, noble, elegant, smart, beautiful, and almost one with nature. They were good at using magic and bows. They lived in the forest and formed a relatively loose kingdom. They were equal and friendly to each other. The elves were usually disorderly and kind. They were hostile to the evil races, while they could get along with the good races. There was the Tree of Life, fairy spring water, singing about the beautiful nature and listening to the gurgling stream. This kind of race had no ambition and would never plunder nature. They weren't greedy like humans, who could play until the plane collapsed. It seemed that the silver-haired guy and Fragrant Wind Guy both wanted to place the elves in this world and were a little against humans. Ning Shu felt that humans were like locusts. Wherever they went, not even a blade of grass would grow. They were so weak that a little injury could cause them to lose their lives. However, they had the most tenacious side. Yet, such a weak person had gathered great fortune in his body. Ning Shu thought to himself, if his world was successfully constructed in the future, he would definitely let the world develop naturally. He would definitely not let the intelligent humans grasp knowledge in advance. However, he was thinking a little too far. He hadn't even constructed the world yet. After a few days of hurrying on the road, the three men did not eat anything. Ning Shu had fasting pills, so it did not matter if they did not eat for a few days. Occasionally, he would let the crystal dragon rest and eat something. Ning Shu rarely communicated with the three of them. Even the three of them rarely communicated with each other. It was very quiet along the way. Ning Shu did not approach the three experts. There was no point in trying to curry favor with them. Even if he tried to please someone, they might not pay attention to him. As long as they were strong enough, they would naturally have the right to speak on equal terms. Instead of looking for good horses everywhere, it was better to carefully take care of a piece of fertile grassland. In the spring, there would be a large number of horses coming over to graze. When the flowers were in full bloom, there would naturally be butterflies and bees. Ning Shu didn't expect to gain any benefits from these people. "Come here." Ning Shu beckoned. Ning Shu was speechless. Why did he summon people like a dog every time? Ning Shu pretended not to see anything. Was he paralyzed or lame? Couldn't he walk over on his own? He was also a person with a temper. Every time he summoned a dog like this, it was infuriating. Ning Shu looked down calmly. He could not hear anything. Seeing that Ning Shu was not moving, the uncle lifted his black coat and took out a gun from his waist. He fired a shot at Ning Shu's feet. Ning Shu jumped up in fright. His expression changed. "Are you crazy?" Ning Shu pointed at the school doctor. "You were the one who called me. Why did you shoot me?" "I heard you. I thought you couldn't hear me. Come here." Ning Shu beckoned. Ning Shu was speechless. Fuck, this guy was purely crazy. He was a monster and a pervert. He used a gun to remind people. Ning Shu clenched his fists. A huge fire dragon rose from his back. Ning Shu jumped onto the fire dragon's back. The fire dragon roared silently. It rushed into the clouds and prepared to leave. She did not want to play with these people anymore. It was too boring. Ning Shu suspected that if she stayed any longer, she would be killed by the monster. But Ning Shu realized something. She realized that she could not move. Even the fire dragon under her was frozen. Ning Shu felt her vision blur. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself standing on the ground. She had flown into the sky just now. But now, she was back on the ground. A strange thought flashed through Ning Shu's mind. The law of time, and it was time reversal. Ning Shu turned around and saw the school doctor pushing up his glasses. The glasses emitted a cold light, covering his eyes. In an instant, they returned to normal. Ning Shu took a deep breath. Didn't you suppress your strength to the lowest? Fragrant Wind nodded. Our strength was suppressed to the point that it was almost non-existent. And the lower the level of the plane, the less our strength will be suppressed. We will be the same as ordinary people. Ning Shu furrowed her brows and glanced at the school doctor. So, in the past, the school doctors she met in the low-level plane had suppressed their strength to the lowest level. This plane was a high-level plane after all. These people more or less had some strength. Ning Shu, what the fuck? Even if they did not suppress their strength, they were still much stronger than her. One day, she would not be suppressed like this. She would not even have the chance to fight back. Ning Shu bit her cheeks and clenched her fists. She stood still. Come here. The uncle, Ning Shu, waved his hand. Ning Shu, so annoying, so annoying. Fragrant Wind walked over and pushed Ning Shu. Go ahead. Don't twist around like that. I'm not twisting. Ning Shu shook her head. What's the matter? The silver-haired man asked the uncle. Take off your clothes and lay them on the ground. I'll sit, the uncle said. The silver-haired man looked at him silently and walked away with his book. Forget it, it's not a big deal. Use mine. Fragrant Wind took off his jacket. The uncle shook his head. Your clothes are too dirty and smelly. Ning Shu, tsk, this problem was getting worse. Ning Shu despised him. Even his best friend could not bear to see him like this. I'm a woman. If you take it off, I'll be naked. Besides, I haven't bathed and changed in a long time, Ning Shu said. It seemed like she could not run away. Bitch. Ning Shu's expression was indifferent. She ate a fasting pill and chanted the clear heart mantra in her heart. I'm not angry at all. After such a thing happened, Ning Shu also gave up on the idea of running away. It seemed that just having strength was not enough. Mastering the rules was the real thing. There were so many rules in this world. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, ice, time, space, so many rules. But she still had not mastered them. Doing missions was to strengthen herself. Missions were just a way. From now on, she had to learn more about the rules. She had to master the rules. Just relying on peerless martial arts was inferior in front of the rules. Chapter 14:17. The previous ruby ring allowed Ning Shu to witness the power of the law for the first time. She also witnessed the reversal of time just now. Killing without spilling blood, without punching flesh, without risking life for life, killing enemies with a wave of the hand. Her sleeves fluttered in the wind. How cool was that? This was what Ning Shu was pursuing. Ning Shu drank a mouthful of water. Her heart was filled with a strong fighting spirit. She had come into contact with a more advanced attack method, and in the future, she would master this kind of attack method. She would become stronger and stronger. In the past, she relied on her will to support herself, although she understood that she had to be strong. She told herself over and over again. But now, the thick fog in front of her was pushed away, and she could clearly see the road ahead. Construct the world, master the law. Ning Shu drank the clear water, and someone patted her shoulder. It was Fragrant Wind. Give me a drink, I'm thirsty. Ning Shu handed him the water bottle and turned to look at Fragrant Wind's face. His face had hair and pores, and it didn't look like a soul. Ning Shu asked, "Are you a human or a soul?" They directly landed in the space, so it should be the original body. "Of course I'm a human." Fragrant Wind said, "Our souls have already condensed into a physical body. The human body is very mysterious and delicate, and suitable for cultivation." Ning Shu nodded. She knew a little more. The soul still had to condense into a physical body. Fragrant Wind was much easier to get along with than the stingy silver-haired guy. If Ning Shu asked these questions, he would probably ask her for points again. After condensing into a physical body, even if the physical body was destroyed and turned into a soul, it could still be condensed again. Ning Shu found that the job of a task enforcer was quite good. Although it was cruel, it was immortal. As long as one wasn't erased, one would be immortal. It gave ordinary people a chance to be strong. Ning Shu clenched her hands into fists, thanking the heavens that she had such an opportunity and a chance to be strong. Ning Shu opened her eyes again, and her entire person became even calmer and calmer. Fragrant Wind handed the kettle to Ning Shu and glanced at Ning Shu from head to toe. "You seem to have changed." Ning Shu felt that he had become even cuter. After that, the four of them continued their journey. After a few days of traveling, they finally arrived at the elven forest. Looking down from the sky, there was a huge tree in the center of the elf forest. This tree was very big, and its canopy stretched very far. This should be the tree of life that gave birth to elves. This forest was full of vitality. There were birds chirping and chirping, making it seem peaceful and peaceful. This place was filled with the smell of nature. What a beautiful place! Following which, fairies flapped their beautiful wings and flew up. They had pointed ears and garlands of flowers on their heads. Holding a bow and arrow in his hand, he was glaring at Ning Shu's group like a tiger eyeing its prey. "Human, giant dragon, this is not a place where you should be. Please leave now," an elf said with a serious expression. The silver-haired man didn't say anything. The exquisite book in his hand rose into the air, and the pages of the book fluttered. Ning Shu stared at the silver-haired man's book. He never left this book. What was he going to do now? The elf looked at the pages flipping in the air, picked up the whistle in front of his chest, and blew it melodiously. After blowing the whistle, a large number of elves quickly flew over. The pages of the book flipped even faster. The elves' faces were heavy, and a heavy atmosphere flowed between them. Fragrant Wind seemed to be a little worried. "If I had known, I would have collected these elves first." The silver-haired man stopped flipping the book, and the last piece of paper was pulled out of the book. This piece of paper floated in the air, emitting a soft luster, and sucked in everything near the page. Many elves were sucked into the page. The paper became bigger and bigger, almost covering the entire elf kingdom. More and more elves were sucked into the paper, and even the tree of life was uprooted and absorbed into the paper. Many elves were taken away by the world when they were very cute. Suddenly, they were very cute. It absorbed the elves and some magical beasts in the forest. The page became smaller and smaller, and finally, it was embedded in the page. The exquisite book returned to the silver-haired man's hand. The silver-haired man held the book. "One species is taken care of." Fragrant Wind. Happy Ning Shu stared at the book in the silver-haired man's hand. This book was very thick. If a page of the book was a world, then how many worlds were these? Ning Shu expressed that he had learned something new. Her ultimate martial arts seemed to be able to build a world. After collecting the elves, the uncle said, "Let's go to the next place." The silver-haired man patted Fragrant Wind's shoulder. "The next mermaid is yours." Ning Shu said, "Let's go down and take a look. There might be some treasures down there." The uncle sneered. "You really don't leave empty-handed." "I'm not a thief." Ning Shu rolled his eyes. The silver-haired man said, "I've collected everything about the elves." Ning Shu was very disappointed. He thought that he would find some treasure. But now the crystal dragon was tired and needed to go down and rest. Ning Shu looked at the place where the elves lived. Birds were singing and flowers were fragrant. There were pine nuts rolling on the ground. Ning Shu saw a green seed on the ground. He picked it up and smelled it. It had a fragrant smell. It was full of the aura of life. The tree of life that gave birth to the elves was watered by the spring of life. Many plants in this forest were stained with the aura of the spring of life. It was said that people who were seriously injured would recover instantly after drinking the spring of life. Ning Shu suspected that the source of the spring of life was the origin of the wood element world. But it was all taken away by the silver-haired man. Ning Shu was very annoyed. Next time, he had to be ahead of them to plunder the treasures. The spring of life. Your fire dragon can carry people. Use the fire dragon, the silver-haired man said to Ning Shu. Ning Shu was very unhappy. He didn't get anything from this trip and still had to do manual labor. You eat meat, but at least give me some soup. Even if it's a dog, you should at least give me a bone. Ning Shu coughed and said reservedly, my fire dragon is an energy body. It can't carry people. Are you looking for the origin of the world? If this world finds the origin of the world, it's yours, the silver-haired man said. Ning Shu smiled and said, of course, we're all mission enforcers. We're all companions and friends. Friends now? The uncle sneered. Ning Shu was in a good mood and didn't argue with him. Seeing that these people didn't need it, the crystal dragon immediately said, I can fly, really. To be able to take away the entire elven race, could it be a god? There must be benefits to following a god. The crystal dragon looked at the three people. It didn't dare to talk to them in black. Forget about the silver-haired man and the frivolous man. Seeing them made its hair stand. Finally, the crystal dragon said to Ning Shu, take me. Chapter 14:18. Although the crystal dragon didn't know what these people wanted to do, they were so powerful. There might be some benefits for following them. If they saw that it had suffered, they might give it some treasures. Moreover, it had witnessed the disappearance of the elves. How proud would it be if it told others that it was the only one who knew the truth? This feeling was really great. The crystal dragon ran in front of Ning Shu. Take me with you. I can fly and I know where the merfolk are. Ning Shu was also quite speechless. She had the least say in this team, so why did they want to give it to her? Picking the soft persimmon? Shouldn't they talk to the three of them? Ning Shu spread his hands. Why don't we take it with us? Anyway, it said that it can fly. The crystal dragon nodded. Yes, yes. Then follow us. If there is any danger, let it take the lead. Fragrant Wind said. Crystal dragon, what a joke. They were so powerful. Why would they need it to be cannon fodder? After taking away the elves, they went to the sea. After crossing this mountain range, there was a sea. There were many magical beasts in the sea. There might be more magical beasts in the sea than on land. Here lived the beautiful and dreamy merfolk who were good at confusing people. Ning Shu looked down at the sea from the back of the crystal dragon. The sea was sparkling. Under the sunlight, it was as if it was sprinkled with gold powder, shining with a luster. The beautiful and dangerous sea. Ning Shu saw some fish leaping out of the sea. There were also beautiful merfolk jumping on the lake or sitting on the reef. Their lower bodies were fish tails and their upper bodies were human bodies. They were naked and their seaweed-like hair covered their plump breasts. Their mouths spat out beautiful music that made people sink into it. Fragrant Wind covered his chest with an intoxicated expression. This sound is really nice. It's the best in my world. Ning Shu, wasn't it because of their looks? The crystal dragon flapped its wings. Suddenly, a water column rushed out from below. It should be the magical beasts below attacking them. The crystal dragon flapped its wings and avoided the water column. Although it avoided it, everyone was still drenched. Ning Shu wiped his face and saw that the other three were also drenched. Ning Shu said, this water must have come from the magic beast's mouth. Then, Ning Shu was satisfied to see the school doctor's face turn cold. That's awesome. The school doctor brushed off the water droplets on his body and wiped his hands on Ning Shu's body. Ning Shu was speechless. Whoever stood next to him would be unlucky. Human clothes were not rags. She really didn't know how he had managed to survive until now. Why hadn't he been beaten to death? It was unthinkable that mission enforcers would have this strange habit of being misophobic. Ning Shu wanted to wipe it back, but he was worried about the gun at his waist, so he just treated it as if it had been scratched by a pig trotter. The mermaids sitting on the reef saw the crystal dragon in the sky. One after another, they jumped off the reef and revealed their heads above the water surface. They sang with extreme affection. Their voices were mellow and melodious, making people who heard them dizzy. Ning Shu's mental power was strong, so he wasn't affected by the song. His expression was calm. A tree slowly appeared above Fragrant Wind's head. The tree didn't look big, but it had many branches and leaves. Fragrant Wind opened his palm, and the tree floated in his palm. Finally, the tree became bigger and bigger, thicker and thicker. The branches and leaves were dense and impenetrable. It was very beautiful. The tree was full of life and had a fresh smell. The leaves rustled. Could it be that Fragrant Wind's world was a tree? There were so many carriers to build worlds. There were books and trees. Ning Shu glanced at the uncle. He didn't know what kind of carrier the world he built was. The tree grew bigger and bigger. It began to crazily absorb the seawater, mermaids, and magic beasts at the bottom of the sea. Ning Shu saw that these things finally gathered in a leaf. Ning Shu almost couldn't breathe. One leaf was a world. How many worlds were there on this tree? Ning Shu was so shocked that his eyeballs were about to explode. One leaf, one flower, one world. Ning Shu finally saw it. It was really eye-opening. After taking away the mermaids, Fragrant Wind's tree became smaller and slowly merged into Fragrant Wind's body. One down. Fragrant Wind snapped his fingers. Finally, there was a beautiful species. Fragrant Wind sat on the back of the crystal dragon. Ning Shu moved over and said, "You're amazing." "Hey, what's so amazing about it?" "It's just so." Fragrant Wind said. "One leaf, one world. You've built so many worlds. It's not simple." Fragrant Wind shook his head. "Not every leaf became a world. Besides, I was lucky enough to meet the world tree by chance. That's why I was able to build a world." So this tree was called the world tree. Being able to meet this kind of tree was also a chance. Ning Shu had never heard of this before. He felt that he was a frog at the bottom of a well. His world is the amazing one. Fragrant Wind pouted in the uncle's direction. "The world I built can't evolve on its own. His world's laws can evolve on its own." Ning Shu nodded. After receiving so many blows, his heart became numb. Previously, Ning Shu felt that building a world was tiring enough. Now, it seemed that there was a higher level above. It wasn't that a person could only build one world. Ning Shu planned in his heart. First, he would build a world and get rid of the shackles of normal mission enforcers. Then, he would think of ways to build more worlds. There were many treasures in the world that could build worlds. Ning Shu touched his chest. His heart was beating fast and his blood was boiling. The crystal dragon was very tired. However, in order to avoid the fate of being abandoned, it tried its best to hold on. Ning Shu released a huge fire dragon. Everyone jumped on the fire dragon. The crystal dragon was thick-skinned and also moved up. It laid on the fire dragon and panted heavily. Ning Shu suddenly thought of a problem. He asked the silver-haired man next to him, "Why don't we just use the space rule to go over?" If one knew the space rule, they could set a point. The shortest line between the 2 points could be reached in an instant. The silver-haired man glanced at Ning Shu. Ning Shu immediately regretted asking this question. The silver-haired man said reservedly, "You know about the butterfly effect, right? The laws of this world are already extremely fragile. Using the space rule might not seem like a big deal, but for the laws of this world, it might be a huge storm. We can't take the risk." Ning Shu nodded and thanked him. "Thank you, I understand." The silver-haired man nodded. 500,000 points. Ning Shu's face twitched. "Knowledge is power and money. You've gained knowledge. Shouldn't you pay something for it?" The silver-haired man said lightly. Ning Shu applauded. "You're right. I can't refute it at all. You're right." Chapter 1419. After saying a few words to the silver-haired man, the 500,000 points were gone. Ning Shu was a little suspicious of what the silver-haired man said before, saying that he would give her the world's origin if they found it. With the silver-haired man's treacherous personality, would he give such a precious world's origin to her? Ning Shu moved to the side and sat in front to enjoy the wind. He said to 2333 in his heart, "Pay attention to the world's origin. I think the spring of life of the elves is the world's origin." 2333 nodded and told Ning Shu, "Don't get into a conflict with them. We can't beat them now, but as long as we're alive, there's hope. If they don't give us the origin of the world, there's nothing we can do. I know that, but if there's a chance, I must fight and take it away. At worst I'll be obliterated once." Ning Shu said, grinding his teeth. The world's origin was not easy to find. Even if it was obliterated once, he must get the world's origin, because it was too rare. He was desperate to find the world's origin. "Well, I'll pay attention." 2333 said, "You be careful." I know. She was always vigilant in her heart. Although they were all mission enforcers, she could not be careful. Especially when her strength was so weak. The dwarves were good at forging. She was short in stature and looked very old. The dwarf race really couldn't be considered beautiful. Ning Shu stopped in the territory where the dwarves lived. Ning Shu's belly was the height of the dwarves. They were really short. Their big nose made them look simple and stupid. Just like a pocket-sized person. And the dwarves' houses were relatively short. The houses were almost as tall as the uncle. But this race could forge weapons much larger than themselves, and they were very strong. Ning Shu, the world of the dwarves' palace is estimated to have the world's origin. It's a little far away, you should come closer. 2333's voice sounded in Ning Shu's mind. Ning Shu was excited. There was really the world's origin. That was great. The most likely was the world's origin of the fire attribute, because the dwarves were good at forging. It might be related to fire. But it might not be of other attributes. After all, in the palace, maybe it was put in the warehouse as a collection. It didn't matter what it was as long as it was the world's origin. "Let's head straight to the Imperial Palace," Ning Shu's team said. The uncle glanced at Ning Shu as if he had seen through Ning Shu's thoughts. He indifferently said, "Not going." The silver-haired man said, "The dwarf race should have the origin of the world. Go and take it. Since I said I'll give it to you, I'll give it to you." When the silver-haired man said this, Ning Shu felt a little embarrassed. He felt that he had gauged the heart of a gentleman with the yardstick of a villain. However, Ning Shu laughed heartily. "Thank you. I'll go take a look." Ning Shu released the fire dragon and quickly flew towards the Imperial Palace. However, the Dwarven Palace was very small. In front, 2333 said. Ning Shu felt that the closer he got to the world's origin, the hotter the heat waves became. He could also hear the sound of metal being smashed down below. As expected, it was a fire-type world origin. Ning Shu put away the fire dragon and went into the room. There was a large furnace in this room. The furnace had a burning flame that would never go out. Many dwarves were busy, sweating profusely as they forged ironware. "How do I take this? Don't tell me I have to use my flesh and blood to catch it?" Ning Shu asked 2333. "Of course. If you don't touch it, how can I take it away?" 2333 said. Ning Shu took a deep breath and rushed straight into the room. The dwarves who were smashing iron looked at Ning Shu, who suddenly broke in with a confused look. Then they watched as Ning Shu put his hand into the furnace like an idiot. Where did this idiot come from? Putting his hand into the heavenly fire. The heavenly fire could even melt the stiffest 9 heaven star iron. It was all thanks to the heavenly fire that the dwarves' forging technology was becoming more and more advanced. Ning Shu put his hand into the heavenly fire and suddenly felt that he was going to be burned. He suddenly howled in pain. The dwarves, "This is a fool," just as Ning Shu felt that his hand was going to be melted by the fire attribute of the world. The burning heavenly fire in the furnace disappeared. Ning Shu looked at his hand. It had been burned beyond recognition. It was red and full of blisters. The dwarves, "God damn it, where is the heavenly fire? The room was quiet. The dwarves stared at Ning Shu with their eyes wide open. They had not recovered from the blow of losing the heavenly fire for a while. Ning Shu saw these dwarves staring at him with their eyes wide open. Ning Shu lifted his blistered hand and rushed out of the room. God, someone stole the heavenly fire. That long-legged human stole the heavenly fire. The dwarves chased after Ning Shu with their short legs. Ning Shu released the fire dragon, jumped on the fire dragon, and ran away. The dwarves jumped up and patted their buttocks with both hands. After losing the heavenly fire, the whole palace was restless. Ning Shu returned to the outside of the city and saw 3 men leisurely. Ning Shu walked over with his blistered hand. The silver-haired man raised his head from the book and glanced at Ning Shu's hand without saying anything. The uncle saw Ning Shu's hand and came over to take Ning Shu's hand. He saw the dense blisters. The uncle squatted down, picked up a small branch, and poked several blisters on Ning Shu's hand. The juice in the blisters splashed out, and Ning Shu shook off his hand in pain. "Are you sick?" Ning Shu was speechless. Did he know how painful it was to be poked? "It feels good." The uncle wiped his hand on Ning Shu's body. Ning Shu, what the hell, this is a psychopath. The feeling of poking blisters was like squeezing acne, and the juice splashed out, which was particularly refreshing. Or the pleasure of squeezing out a large lump of black hair. She was in so much pain, bitch. Ning Shu gently wiped the water that flowed out with a paper. She was seriously burned, and she could still do such a thing. Evil. Then he applied some medicine on his hand and mobilized his dantian to start healing the burn. "I'm injured now, so I can't fly now." "Do as you see fit," Ning Shu said angrily. The 3 men didn't care about what Ning Shu said at all. The crystal dragon immediately said, "I can fly, ride me." "Ride? Can you have some dignity as a dragon?" Fragrant wind took away all the short-legged dwarves that were chasing after them. They began to head towards the Orc Empire. Ning Shu was very happy. He got the origin of the world at such a small price of being burned. It was really a gain. Ning Shu sat on the back of the crystal dragon, smiling, holding his face with his hands, looking at the scenery that was passing by. "Oh damn, why am I so happy? What are you smiling about?" "You're smiling so casually," Fragrant Wind Man Ning Shu asked. "Nothing." Ning Shu spread his hands. "Don't tell me you're happy because he poked your blisters." Ning Shu's face twitched, and his face almost cramped. "Don't poke it at all, okay?" Did she ask him for help? It was very easy to get infected if he poked it directly. The flesh inside was tender and painful. Chapter 1420. He just wanted that kind of pleasure. He had never seen such a pervert. Moreover, he directly picked up the branches on the ground and poked them without disinfecting them. He even wiped his hands on her body. What the hell was she doing? When they arrived at the place where the Orc Empire and the giant dragon lived, they found that there was no world origin. Sure enough, the world origin was not so easy to get. He saw the fragrant wind man and the silver-haired man take the creatures of this plane into the world. But he didn't see the school doctor take out his world. He didn't know what he used to build the world as a carrier. Although Ning Shu was curious about his world, he didn't ask. It was boring to go up and ask for a snub and get a nose full of dust. After that, Ning Shu didn't encounter the world origin again. However, the world origin wasn't so easy to encounter. It was already very satisfying to meet one. Although this was the world's counterattack and counterattack in vain, at least there was still the world origin. It was enough to make up for all the losses. The last human was in the silver-haired man's world. Although the silver-haired man was expressionless, Ning Shu still felt that he was unhappy. And he didn't take away all the humans, but made a selection. It was estimated that the selected humans were all meritorious or good people. Even magical beasts could be taken away, but for humans, there were 3 or 4 choices. Most of the humans were left behind. Were humans so unpopular? Because of the disappearance of species one after another, the world seemed to be much quieter. But the humans were in an uproar. Because many people disappeared, those who were left behind were people with bad intentions. The The human world suddenly became chaotic. Without rules, there were smashing and robbing everywhere. It became chaotic all of a sudden. Some people even took advantage of this chaos to establish their own family's power. Ning Shu also saw Alan. Seeing Alan again, Ning Shu's heart didn't fluctuate at all. Ning Shu smiled and saw the three men beside Ning Shu. "Are you serving three men now?" Ning Shu. These words were really unpleasant. Despicable person from another world, as a slave, you dare to bite back at your master. Today I will get rid of you. Alan pulled out a giant sword, and the sword chi was covered with battle chi. Ning Shu snorted. It seemed like Alan wasn't chosen to enter Noah's Arkansas. He wasn't chosen. This meant that Alan was not a good person. There are no pure good people in this world, but Alan is guilty. Alan's hand trembled as he held the giant sword. He was a little afraid of the three men beside the slave. The strong had the aura of the strong. Being looked at by these three people, Alan felt extremely oppressed. After thinking for a moment, he took out a space scroll and ran away. Ning Shu was speechless. "Why are you so cowardly?" Alan is good at running away. They hadn't even fought yet. At the very least, they had to fight and confirm that they couldn't win before running away. "We're done here. It's your turn now," the silver-haired man said to the school doctor. A black hole slowly appeared behind the school doctor, but it didn't swallow him. Many people on this plane suddenly collapsed in an instant. Most of them were slaves. Some of them were being whipped and died suddenly. Some people even died while they were still having sex. Regardless of whether they were happy or unhappy, they all died at the same moment. The souls of men and women floated into the black hole. These people were all transmigrators. They were forced to be reincarnated. When the souls of the transmigrators entered the black hole, another batch of souls poured into the black hole. The world had become a lifeless world. There were no more living creatures. It was empty. Ning Shu's eyes blurred. When he opened his eyes, he saw that he was in an illusion. The four of them were the same. They were standing in between the space and the space channel. There was also the crystal dragon. It was in a daze. It leaned close to Ning Shu. Its huge body hid behind Ning Shu. Among the four of them, this girl was slightly gentler. The other three looked at it indifferently. It was as if they were looking at a blade of grass. There were no emotional fluctuations. It was so scary. Where was this place? Ning Shu saw that the plane in front of her was full of holes. It was like a sponge. There were many holes on it. This plane that was about to be destroyed. Under the destruction of the transmigrators, this plane was about to be destroyed. Actually, these transmigrators still had a chance to be reincarnated. It was already very good. Although the destruction was not caused by a single transmigrator, every snowflake was responsible for the avalanche. The uncle stretched out his hands and tried to peel off this plane. It was as if he was performing an operation to remove a rotten part. But this plane suddenly exploded with a bang. The fragments were like stars in the sky. These were plane fragments. They would affect the surrounding planes. The middle-aged man's face turned cold, and many fragments flew towards his hand. Fragrant Wind, who was beside Ning Shu, could not help but sigh. "I'm most afraid of encountering such things. It's killing me to clean up these things." Ning Shu grabbed a few fragments. These were fragments from the plane. Perhaps they could be of some use. After all, they were fragments of a plane. Fragrant Wind shook his head. "These fragments are like glass fragments. If a piece of glass is intact, it's still useful. But if it's broken, it's useless." Sigh, "My heart is so tired." Fragrant Wind resigned to his fate and began to clean up these fragments. Ning Shu also began to help clean up. But Ning Shu realized that some of the fragments were too heavy. She could not carry them at all. "Just stand there." These fragments can only be cleaned by people who have mastered the rules. Otherwise, you won't be able to grab them. Ning Shu nodded. There were 2 light fragments in her hands. If she could grab these fragments, it meant that there were no rules inside. The 3 of them had been busy collecting the fragments. And they looked like they were having a hard time. It was not easy for everyone. The greater the power, the greater the responsibility. She was the only weakling watching from the side. She was floating in the void. Her feet could not touch the ground. Her heart was in suspense. She did not feel safe. She did not know when they would finish cleaning up. What are they doing? The crystal dragon hiding behind Ning Shu asked her. It's considered saving the common people. This world is about to be destroyed. So we have to save as many living things as possible, Ning Shu said. Not everyone was saved. Actually, among the species saved, the proportion of humans was the smallest. They would enter the cycle of reincarnation. At least they had a chance to be reincarnated. They would not be destroyed along with the plane. Are they some kind of gods? The crystal dragon asked. Ning Shu looked at the three busy people. I guess so. I'm also someone who wants to become a god. She had broadened her horizons. The people above were much stronger than her. She stood below. She could not imagine what the scenery above was like. Chapter 1421. The three of them were cleaning up the plane's trash. Ning Shu stood at the side and watched. Even if she wanted to help, she was powerless. Watching from the side didn't feel good, because she couldn't do anything because she was too weak. She couldn't do anything. She couldn't blend in with the three of them at all, because she was too weak. There was a hierarchy of strength. Ning Shu sat down cross-legged inside. Looking at the countless planes in the void, these planes were close to each other, densely packed. It was very spectacular. How were these planes formed? It was too uncanny. Born from the sea of law, they could grow, get sick, and die, just like a person. The crystal dragon calmed down a little, and leaned against Ning Shu to watch these people walk in the void. There was clearly nothing under their feet, as if they were walking on flat ground, Ning Shu rested her chin on her hand and sighed silently. So, don't stay with people who are too weak, it's too much of a blow to people's confidence. Ning Shu was so bored that she decided to cultivate. The crystal dragon fell asleep with loud noises. After cultivating for a while, he saw that the three of them were still cleaning up. Ning Shu leaned on the crystal dragon and slept. After waking up, these people were still busy. Ning Shu sat cross-legged and cultivated again. After cultivating, he looked at the three busy figures and ate a fasting pill. Ning Shu rested her chin on her hand and sighed. So boring. Ning Shu said to 2333 in his mind, now that the mission is over, let's go. I don't know how long it will take to clean up. 2333 said, let's wait, after all, it's not good for you to leave like this. Ning Shu let out a long sigh. The uncle turned around to look at Ning Shu. His eyes were cold and disdainful. Look my ass. Ning Shu rolled his eyes and looked away. Ning Shu didn't know how long he stayed in the void, but the fragments in the void were finally cleaned up. Fragrant Wind was so tired that he laid down flat, waved his hand and said, don't call me next time, I can't take it anymore. Even the silver-haired man looked tired, but he stood in the void, holding an exquisite book in his hand. Uncle said faintly, you've worked hard this time. The crystal dragon poked Ning Shu with its wings. Ning Shu said to Fragrant Wind, send this dragon to your world, you're the one who took the dragon. Fragrant Wind, who was lying on the ground, sat up and nodded. He patted the crystal dragon's head, causing the crystal dragon to tremble in fear. A leaf appeared in Fragrant Wind's hand and sucked the crystal dragon away. Ning Shu stood up and politely said, this mission with you guys has really broadened my horizons. It's a very pleasant experience. Stupid mission enforcers. The middle-aged man sneered, his face cold. Ning Shu automatically blocked his words and couldn't hear anything. Remember to give me the 500,000 points, the silver-haired man said reservedly. Ning Shu was speechless. He didn't know if he could earn 500,000 points in this world. After all, he was doing work in this world. Ning Shu said goodbye to Fragrant Wind, then told 2333 to leave, and his soul left this body. As soon as Ning Shu left this body, his body disappeared and turned into dust. This body should have dissipated along with the plane in the first place. Let's go too, Fragrant Wind said. Oh my God, I'm so tired. The three of them shook and disappeared into the void. Ning Shu returned to the system space and saw a flame floating in the space. The flame was orange and kept burning. It was the origin of the fire element world. Ning Shu approached the flame with excitement. He felt an unbearable heat that was about to burn his soul. Ning Shu reached out and took out the ultimate martial art on the bookshelf. His other hand held up the origin of the world, ready to put it inside. He embedded the origin of the world into the page. But in the next second, the entire ultimate martial art turned into a cloud of mist. Surrounded by a layer of mist, he couldn't see the ultimate martial art clearly. He could only touch it but not see it. Ning Shu, what's going on? The second level of the ultimate martial art was very hot in his hand. Under the stimulation of the wood element, it seemed to have become even stronger. The wood element could increase the power of the flame. The 5 elements reinforced and restrained each other. Metal gave birth to water, water gave birth to wood, wood gave birth to fire, fire gave birth to earth, and earth gave birth to metal. No matter what, it was a good thing. Ning Shu placed a peerless martial art that was surrounded by fog on the bookshelf. Then he saw the black square intelligent brain life. He didn't know how this thing would wake up. An intelligent brain life born from a super civilization. He didn't know what it would be like when it woke up. Ning Shu smiled, sat on the sofa, and opened the attribute panel. Name, Ning Shu. Age, 27 points, 95 million soul value, 350 life value, wisdom value, 424 charm value, 70 spiritual power, 320 faith power, 32115 martial power, 452 qualifications, 199 merit, 14260 skills. 5th ring shooting technique, intermediate fighting technique, exceptional martial art, intermediate poison technique, beginner business management knowledge, beginner code programming, beginner lawyer skill, beginner ghost catching skill. Honorary title, War God Empress, selfless ancestor items, calm aura, heart setting pill, faith aura, amulet 4, upgraded amulet +2 aura, mother of the world, queen's blessing, sister model worker, Chinshi's blessing, leader aura, grass blessing, lifelong friend, Meow Meow Meow's blessing. Life-saving hand, Zhu Su Nyang's blessing, founding female general, Chen Ermiai's blessing, beauty of the law, Chen Ning's blessing, bane of the blood clan, Jasmine's blessing, cross-race communication, by San Yang's blessing. Note, can only communicate within a certain range of wisdom, completed Wu Xiaolan's wish, mission completion 100%. Received mission rewards, 1 million points, no attribute points, 4,000 faith power, 1,000 merit points. Although there were only 1 million points and no attribute points, there were 1,000 merit points, which was much more precious than attribute points. If she could get 1,000 merit points, how much did those 3 people get? 4,000 faith power and a world's origin. It was a profit. Ning Shu was very happy. Wow. Although he was the one being ordered around all the way, he did get some benefits. Although his confidence was destroyed, the harvest was quite good. Wow. Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the sofa, supporting his chin as he looked at the roses on the coffee table. What are the rules? How do I control the rules? Ning Shu had never thought about the rules before. Only when he started to come into contact with the rules did he know the power of the rules. The power of the rules was really powerful. Ning Shu wanted to control the rules. Only by controlling the rules would he be like a god. Only then could he be considered really powerful. Controlling the rules, controlling the rules. Ning Shu's previous intermediate trial mission reward was the Law Sea Stone. /BK. Chapter 1422. Ning Shu took out a pitch-black irregular Law Sea stone, which looked like a lump of coal. This stone was born in the Law Sea, so it should have its own rules. However, this thing was very stiff and he didn't know how to use it. Ning Shu shook it in his hand and finally kept the Law Sea. However, at that level, many things were still unknown. Ning Shu put the Law Sea stone away. Anyway, the road was paved one step at a time. She didn't know because she hadn't reached her goal yet. She would know eventually. Ning Shu lay down on the sofa and added merit and faith power to it. Name, Ning Shu. Age, 27 points, 10,000-3,000,000 soul, 350 life, wisdom, 424 charm, 70 spirit, 320 faith, force, 452 qualifications, 199 merit, skills, 5th ring shooting technique, intermediate fighting technique, exceptional martial arts, intermediate poison technique, beginner business management knowledge, beginner code programming, beginner lawyer skills, beginner ghost catching skills. Honorary titles, Goddess of War, Selfless Ancestor Tools, Calm Halo, Heart Calming Pill, Faith Halo, Amulet 4, Upgraded Amulet 2. Halo, Mother of the World, Queen's Blessing, Sister Model Worker, Chinshi's Blessing, Leader Halo, Grass's Blessing, Best Friend for Life, Meow Meow Meow's Blessing. Life-Saving Hand, Zhu Su Nyang's Blessing, Founding Woman, Chen Ermiai's Blessing, Beauty of the Law, Chen Ning's Blessing, Bane of the Blood Clan, Jasmine's Blessing, Cross-Race Communication, by San Yang's Blessing. Note, can only communicate with intelligence within a certain range. She didn't earn any points in this world and had 3 million deducted. Other than the silver-haired man's 500,000, there was also the money she spent on shopping. The silver-haired man was getting darker and darker. He looked like a gentleman and was extremely cunning. After doing these things, Ning Shu decided to find 2,333 to talk about life. Next time when you teleport to another world, can you check the information of that world? Otherwise, we will be working for free. Ning Shu said 2333. 2333, the system is asleep, the remarks system will assist you. A mechanical voice sounded. Ning Shu was speechless. Alright, stop playing dead. Be careful next time. If you trick me again, I won't play with you anymore. Ning Shu couldn't figure out how 2,333 could become a system. The person like the system should be like Ching Fei. He had a meticulous mind and controlled his emotions in a gentle yet perverted manner. This world's harvest is not bad, wah. 2333 laughed awkwardly. Ning Shu said seriously, 2333, we are one. My interest is your interest. If you drag me down, what's the point of playing? This is my negligence. Ning Shu lay down on the sofa. Let's work together in the future. Only then can we run faster. He made his stance clear to 2333. He only needed a few thousand more faith power to reach 40,000. Now, he only needed a few more points to reach 100 million points. Perhaps one mission would be enough. Ning Shu was quite happy. Although he could not build a world quickly, it was not bad to be able to become a super task taker. As a super task taker, he could enjoy some benefits. Ning Shu's heart was filled with fighting spirit. One day, he could be as strong as the three of them. He could be even stronger. Ning Shu felt his blood boiling, as if he had been injected with chicken blood. Even the black hole in the system space was much more pleasing to the eye. Although it had not merged yet, the black hole was getting smaller and smaller. Perhaps it would be completed soon. This meant that this thing was very powerful. As long as it was something good, he was not afraid of waiting. All the waiting was worth it. Ning Shu touched the bright red rose on the coffee table. The rose exuded a fragrance. Bright red and dazzling. Ning Shu hoped that he could be like this red rose. Under the erosion of time, he would always be so bright red, delicate, beautiful and fragrant. A fragrance from the soul. Fighting for eternal life. There was someone she was chasing in front of her. Sure enough, it was good to interact more with other task takers. She could learn a lot from them. When she became a super task taker, she would also do missions with other task takers. She would understand the way other task takers did things. She would not go far if she remained stagnant. Mei Ziqing said he wanted to do missions with her last time, but she was not a super task taker. It seemed that super task takers were a hurdle. Barely. The school doctor said that she had not improved at all. What was he referring to? When she first met him, she was a rookie task taker. When she met him again, he said that she had not improved. Ning Shu rested her chin on her hand. Was she too weak? Forget it. His words were not important. At least now she had the ability to protect herself. It was impossible for her to reach the top in a single step. When she reached the top, she could pat her chest and proudly say, "I reached the top step by step." Step by step, she became a strong person. She was not a genius. She could work harder than others. Without a high starting point, she could work harder than others. Ning Shu was lucky that she had become a task taker and could survive. Ning Shu was even thankful for her illness. That kind of torture allowed her to be where she was now. She did not enter the cycle of reincarnation and start a mediocre life. She had the chance to become strong. She was thankful for everything. Ning Shu took out the flowers in the vase and sniffed them. "I want to live like this. Beautiful and thorny. I can be beautiful and protect myself." Ning Shu put the roses back in the vase and took out a book from the shelf. It was a cultivation book that she had exchanged for before. She did not know if it was because of her naivety, but Ning Shu always felt that it was not as useful as her ultimate martial arts. The ultimate martial arts had accompanied her to this day. It was also the carrier for her to build her world. In her heart, she still treasured the ultimate martial arts. Although the ultimate martial arts were not as profound as these secret cultivation books. But the truth was simple. But looking at these secret cultivation books could help her understand more. She could understand the essence of other people's thoughts. Sooner or later, these things would become her nourishment. Ning Shu finished reading the book and put it back on the shelf. She said to 2333, "Let's go do missions." 2333 immediately said, "System missions?" Ning Shu was speechless. 2333's brain was filled with nothing but system missions. If he couldn't do anything else well, he would have done the missions in the last world for nothing. 2333, focus on business. Ning Shu couldn't help but say, "Please don't be so retarded. Life was already hard enough. Let's not do the system missions first." Ning Shu said. 2333 nodded. "I've checked the information of the next world. It's not a collapsing world." Chapter 1423. Why didn't they lock the mission when it was already like that in the previous world? Why did they let people take it? Wouldn't it be a waste of time? Ning Shu asked. If they were careless and received such a mission, it would be a waste of time. If they didn't complete the mission, they would still be killed. What a scam. Luck is also a kind of strength. If they really picked this kind of mission, they can only blame it on their bad luck. The higher-ups are only responsible for eliminating the worlds that have successfully turned the situation around. They don't care about the rest, 2333 said. Ning Shu was speechless. What a scam. She didn't have access to the higher-ups and didn't know who was scamming her. Enter the mission. Life was full of scams. She had to be vigilant at all times. The path of the strong was not easy. She just had to grit her teeth and run forward with tears in her eyes. Okay. Ning Shu felt weightless and her body merged into another body. After completely merging, Ning Shu's ears were buzzing with arguing. There were also crying sounds. No one shook her shoulders to wake her up. Ning Shu pretended that she didn't wake up. She started to run the ultimate martial arts in her body while accepting the storyline. Well, the storyline of this world was very simple. It could be summarized in one sentence. Sisters turned against each other for a man. They would fight to the death. The original owner was called Ding Xueqing. She was born into a rich family and lived a beautiful life. She had a strong and handsome fiancé. However, she had a half-sister. Ding Ningdi was an illegitimate daughter. Her mother was a celebrity in the entertainment industry. Her lifelong wish was to marry into a rich family. How could she marry into a rich family so easily? Rather than wanting to join a rich family, she wanted to find a sugar daddy. Ding Ningdi's mother found an opportunity to climb into Ding Xueqing's father's bed. Of course, a man wouldn't reject a woman who came to him. He wasn't a man if he rejected her. He gave Ding Ningdi's mother some benefits and Ding Ningdi's mother followed him. Later, she got pregnant. Ding Ningdi's mother thought that since the Ding family didn't have a son, She could use her son to climb up the social ladder. Ding Ningdi's mother was careful and didn't tell anyone about her pregnancy. She planned to give birth to the child secretly. When she was 3 or 4 months pregnant and could do an ultrasound, she found out that it was a daughter. Ding Ningdi's mother and wanted to abort the child. However, the doctor told her. Ding Ningdi's mother. But the doctor told her that she would be infertile for the rest of her life. After all, Ding Ningdi's mother. It was impossible to stay clean in the entertainment industry. Ding Ding's mother's tea. There were producers and directors, and producers-directors have sexed. After Ding Ningdi's mother gave birth to Ding Ningdi, she carried Ding Ningdi to the Ding family. However, Ding Ningdi stayed in the Ding family, while Ding Ningdi's mother was driven away. A rich family was not a place where an actress could enter. Ding of TT Ding Ding, S Ding Ding's Ding, S be beautiful, S. Ding Ningdi's mother was quiet and didn't have much of a presence. As an illegitimate daughter, the mistress of the house neglected her. Even if she went out, she wouldn't be able to mingle with the young masters. But not long ago, Ding Ningdi accidentally slept with her sister's fiancé. Something shameful happened between her sister-in-law and her brother-in-law. Anyway, there would be feelings after having sex. What happened next was logical. The two of them were in true love. Anyway, you have to be responsible for my body. Both of them formed a deal in their hearts. I'll give you my body and you have to pamper me. The original Ding Xueqing was furious. Her fiancé was snatched away by an illegitimate daughter. He was snatched away by a pretentious woman who always looked weak and would bully others if they spoke louder. In this way, the hatred grew deeper and deeper. Moreover, she had a strong man to back her up. She had a proud sister and a vicious wife. The man wanted to make up for the pain she had suffered in the past. Her true love was the most pitiful in the world. She had been neglected since she was young. Even the matter of being an illegitimate daughter was someone else's fault. Ding Xueqing couldn't bear to see Ding Ningdi like that. She hated Ding Ningdi and her fiancé. Because her fiancé held Ding Ningdi in the palm of his hand, she was so embarrassed that she couldn't raise her head in front of everyone. In front of her true love, Ding Xueqing tried her best to court death. Even her mother became cannon fodder. She was chased out of the Ding family and was extremely embarrassed. After that, her life was extremely poor. Her vicious reputation spread throughout the upper-class circle. She was disliked everywhere she went. Everywhere she went, people would hear about Ding Ningdi. How lucky she was and how much her husband doted on her. She didn't get anything she wanted. All the good things were piled in front of her. Every day, she would hold her sore waist and wake up. She was infatuated. She was simply the model of true love. Ding Xueqing laughed mockingly at this. She pretended to be weak, pitiful, beautiful, and tearful. It was so pretentious that it was disgusting. Ding Xueqing's wish was, she would never let Ding Ningdi, the little white flower, live a good life. She looked innocent with tears in her eyes and acted like a mistress. She also wanted to be with Bai Hanmo. Regardless of whether Bai Hanmo was dead or alive, she wanted Bai Hanmo to be her man in life and her ghost in death. Ning Shu was speechless. Sometimes, fighting with all one's might not necessarily be because of love. It was because one couldn't take it lying down and had to fight for it. Now, the secret relationship between Ding Ningdi and Bai Hanmo was exposed. Blood rushed to Ding Xueqing's head and she fainted from anger. Ding Ningdi was now kneeling and begging for Ding Xueqing's forgiveness. The one who was crying now was Ding Ningdi. Ning Shu listened to her cries. Even her cries were so pleasant to the ears. Ning Shu opened his eyes. Ding's mom immediately asked Ning Shu anxiously, "Xueqing, how are you?" Ning Shu shook his head. "Mom, I'm much better." There were 3 people in the room. A middle-aged man, Ding Ningdi, who was kneeling on the ground, and Ding's mom, who looked worried and anxious. Ning Shu didn't even look at the middle-aged man, Ding Ningdi. Instead, he looked at Ding Ningdi, who was kneeling on the ground. She was wearing a white dress and didn't have any jewelry on. She looked very shabby. It was as if her family had mistreated her. However, Ding Ningdi's dress was not cheap. Sure enough, She was a little white flower that was fluttering in the wind. "Apologize to your sister," Ding Yen said to Ding Ningdi, who was kneeling on the ground. When Ding Yen spoke, he even winked at Ding Ningdi. Ning Shu saw it but didn't say anything. Women like little white flowers were good at using their looks. They looked pitiful and needed protection, which aroused men's pride and vanity. This kind of woman was loved by men and hated by women. The Ding family was actually divided into two factions. One faction was Ding's mom and Ding Xueqing. Ding Ningdi's existence was an insult to Ding's mom. Ding's mom would be lying if she said she didn't hate this illegitimate daughter. Ding Xueqing naturally sided with her mother. Chapter 1424. The client had always been indifferent to his illegitimate sister. He would never admit that Ding Ningxue was his sister. He would directly say that she was his father's other daughter. The client blamed Ding Yen for betraying his mother, and the relationship between the father and daughter was not good. The other party was Ding Yen and Ding Ningdi. Every time Ding Ningdi looked at Ding Yen, she would look at Ding Yen with admiration, as if she wanted to get close to him but did not dare to. She would make tea for Ding Yen and do things for Ding Yen silently. It made people's hearts soften. Ding Yen would always protect her, whether intentionally or not. If they were not father and daughter, Ning Shu would have suspected that they were related. Ding Yen asked Ding Ningdi to apologize to Ning Shu. Ding Ningdi's eyes, which had been washed by tears, were moist and clear. Her eyelashes were wet, making them look even more perky. However, Ning Shu was not a man. If a man were to be stared at with such pitiful eyes, his heart would probably melt. Ning Shu stared straight at her with an expressionless face. What's the use of apologizing? She has been sleeping with Bai Hanmo for such a long time. If we didn't find out now, who knows how long we would have kept it a secret? Ding's mom's face was livid, and she looked at her husband with disappointment. Ding's mom was a lady from a wealthy family, so she knew when to advance or retreat. When Ding Ningdi's mother came to the door with the child, Ding's mom had calmed down. However, she was so angry that her body was trembling. She sneered at Ding Yen and said, "What are you going to do? Bai Hanmo is my daughter's fiancé." Ding Yen frowned and looked a little impatient with Ding's mom's overbearing attitude. Anyway, the marriage between the Ding family and the Bai family. Before Ding Yen could say anything, he was interrupted by Ding's mom sharply. "Ding, you really have a good plan. As long as it's your daughter, it'll be fine." "My daughter? Where is my Xueqing? Where is my Xueqing's face?" All these years, the relationship between this couple was very indifferent. It could even be described as cold. Ning Shu reached out and grabbed Ding's mom's cold hand. He pulled her to sit down and said calmly, "Mom, don't worry. Worrying won't solve anything." Ding's mom took a deep breath and sat down. Looking at Ding Ningdi, who was kneeling on the ground, her eyes were filled with deep disgust. If she had ignored her in the past, she was now extremely disgusted. Ding Ningdi's body trembled, and she looked at Ning Shu with tears in her eyes. "Sister, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I know he's my brother-in-law, but I like him. Without him, I'll die. I know my existence is detestable, but my brother-in-law is the only thing I want to fight for in my life." Ding Ningdi's words were full of sarcasm. She said how pitiful she was and how lowly she was here with nothing. At the same time, she also expressed her position. When she talked about Bai Hanmo, she even called him her brother-in-law. She was deliberately provoking him. She grew up in a rich family. Was she really that pure? You don't forget, Ding Ningdi still had an actress mother. She had always been helping her mother. Ding's mom was so angry that her whole body trembled. Her chest heaved violently. If she had known this would happen, she would have pressed her into the toilet and drowned her. Ning Shu's expression was calm. "You can't live without your brother-in-law?" Ning Shu also used the word brother-in-law. He was disgusted by anyone. Ding Ningdi's wet eyelashes trembled. She seemed to be very afraid of Ning Shu. Finally, she nodded firmly. "Yes, sister. Bai Hanmo and I are truly in love. You and Bai Hanmo are only engaged. You're not married. In the face of true love, I have to fight for it. Ding's mom stood up angrily. Ning Shu held Ding's mom's hand. Mom, don't be angry. Sit down. Ding's mom took a deep breath and sat down again. Ding Ningdi shed tears and looked humble. Sister, please let me and Bai Hanmo be together. Without him, I know. Without him you'll die. Ning Shu smiled. Then go to hell. Ding Ningdi's expression was a little dull. Ding Yen said unhappily, Xueqing, she's your sister. Ning Shu nodded. As long as she dares to die, I'll pay for it with my life. Although the 100 flowers were delicate, they often cried like raindrops on pear blossoms. They looked so weak that it was as if they would die without the protection of a man. But their hearts and minds were strong. Even if others jumped into the river and hung themselves, they would never bear to die. Ding Ningdi lowered her head and cried. I know sister won't forgive me. Ning Shu looked at his exquisite manicure and said, without Bai Hanmo, you'll die. Then go to hell because I won't let you have him. As long as you dare to die, I'll pay for it with my life. No, let's die together. If we jump off the building hand in hand, we'll definitely die. Even if we don't die, we'll be disabled. Do you dare to die? Do you dare? Ning Shu supported his chin with his hand and looked at Ding Ningdi with his head tilted. Ding Ningdi lowered her head and wept like a pear blossom. Ning Shu really hated this kind of woman who cried so easily. They didn't really want to cry, but their tears were their weapons. Clearly, it was Ding Ningdi and her brother-in-law who had done such shameless and inhumane things. True love couldn't help itself. Now that she was crying, it was as if Ning Shu and Ding's mom were bullying her. Why are you crying? Are you going to die or not? If you don't dare to die, don't say that you can't live anymore. If you want to die, who are you trying to scare? Ning Shu said sarcastically. Ding Yen sighed. Ning Shu said, Xueqing, don't be so aggressive. Yes, I was aggressive. I forced her to get together with my fiancé. I forced her to steal my fiancé. I forced her to declare her sovereignty in front of me and say that she won't give up on true love. Ning Shu spread his hands and looked at Ding Yen. Dad, even if a person's heart is biased, your heart is biased to the armpit. Ding Yen saw the hatred in his wife's eyes and couldn't help but say helplessly, your sister has had a hard life since she was young. Ding Yen was definitely speaking for Ding Ningdi. People were biased towards the weak. Besides, Ding Ningdi had been close to Ding Yen since they were young. Hard life? Ning Shu shrugged. I didn't make her an illegitimate daughter. Who was the one who sowed the seeds? Ding Yen was speechless. What's more, I don't have a hard life at all. I wear branded clothes and have a 6-figure pocket money to help my mother. I don't see any hard life at all. Ning Shu kept holding Mrs. Ding's cold hands. Xueqing, your sister is a very fragile person. She has always been sensitive and self-abased. You're strong. Dad will definitely find you a better man than Bai Hanmo. Ding Yen didn't want to lose the marriage with the Bai family, but he was biased towards Ding Ningdi. Ning Shu said, oh, so it's my fault that I'm strong. Should I give in to her because she has an inferiority complex? Chapter 1425. If you're strong, you should quit. If you're strong, even if you're hurt a little, it's fine. Because she was an illegitimate daughter, she had low self-esteem and had to be carefully protected. Ding Yen didn't like Ning Shu talking back. He didn't respect him as a father at all. He wasn't like Ding Ningdi, who called him daddy softly and looked at him with admiration and respect. He wasn't like his eldest daughter, who looked at him with disdain, as if he was a sinner. He just wasn't likable. You can't say that. After all, your sister Bai Hanmo has already done what's done. Xueqing, you're more outstanding than your sister, so you'll definitely find a better man. Ding Yen frowned and said patiently. He wanted to resolve this peacefully. Ning Shu held his chin. So it's my fault that I'm outstanding. Besides tears and snot, she's useless. She even became a reason to threaten others. Who asked you to be so outstanding? I'm useless. It's not easy for a man to like me. You're outstanding, so you should quit. It was Ning Shu's first time seeing a situation where the weak were right and the strong should quit. It was the logic of a bandit. Didn't Ding Yen know that this was inappropriate? Of course he knew. But he was biased towards Bai Ningdi and wanted to sacrifice his eldest daughter. Bai Ningdi cried silently. Drops of tears flowed out. She sobbed and said, "I was framed. At a party, I was drugged and had sex with my brother-in-law. I didn't do it on purpose." Ning Shu nodded. "Can you wipe your snot and tears? Do you know how disgusting you are when you cry?" Ding Ningdi cried silently and bit her lip. She looked very pitiful. "We're solving the problem, not making it more complicated. Don't be so aggressive," Ding Yen said. Ning Shu shrugged. This was a little white flower. As long as she cried beautifully and looked weak, there would naturally be people who would stand up for her. What's there to discuss? Don't you just want Ding Ningdi to replace me and let the Ding family and the Bai family unite by marriage? You've already made up your mind. What's there to discuss? You brought her here purely to disgust me, Ning Shu said coldly. Ding Yan's face darkened. You're both my daughters. There's nothing to be biased about. Since it's already happened, what do you think we should do? Choose the lesser of two evils and choose the greater of two benefits. Ning Shu understood what Ding Yan meant, but the client could not take this lying down. It was an instinct to seek benefits and avoid harm. This was the best plan for the Ding clan. However, the anger in his heart could not be vented. The development of the situation could very well be derailed. It was Ning Shu who saw Ding Ningdi's aggrieved look. She had taken advantage of everything, but she still looked like she was going to die. It was really infuriating. After adding the client into the mix, the ending was really not good. It was Ding Ningdi's mother who came to the Ding family for glory and wealth and gave birth to a daughter. All these years, the Ding family raised Ding Ningdi until she was an adult. They did not lack food or clothes, but more often than not, they ignored her existence. Did they have to treat an illegitimate daughter like she was their ancestor? In the eyes of others, this became very pitiful. How pitiful! She was ignored and never valued. Bai Hanmo felt that all these things were the fault of Ding's mom and the client. It was because of them that Ding Ningdi had suffered so much. In addition, the client and her mother hated Ding Ningdi to the core and scolded Ding Ningdi very harshly. They either hit or scolded her. Every time Bai Hanmo came to save Ding Ningdi, she was in deep trouble. Ning Shu looked at Ding Ningdi. Ding Ningdi had been kneeling on the ground. Her knees hurt a little, so she moved her body. Ning Shu ignored her. Even if you slept with your brother-in-law, you didn't say anything. The two of you slept together secretly. Are you not going to tell everyone? Ding Ningdi was a little speechless. Ding Ningdi's expression was very innocent. Ever since they had that romantic night, Bai Hanmo had been pestering her and threatening her with this matter. Ding Ningdi was against Bai Hanmo. She knew that Bai Hanmo was her sister's fiancé. Even if her heart had fallen, Ding Ningdi did not know Bai Hanmo's thoughts. She could only sneak around. Thinking about this, Ding Ningdi's heart ached again. Don't tell me that you couldn't help it. Ning Shu smiled at Ding Ningdi. Ding Ningdi cried. If sister can't forgive me, then I will leave Bai Hanmo and go abroad. I'll see who dares to leave without my permission. A cold voice sounded from the door. Ning Shu looked at the door. Bai Hanmo was standing there, wearing a custom-made suit. Bai Hanmo had slanted eyebrows that reached his temples. He had a devilish aura about him. His aura was very strong. Wherever he stood, there was a strong feeling that he was the most powerful person in the world. He had the aura of a king. He was tall, handsome, and had a good figure. He was also a financial tycoon. If he stomped his feet, the entire country's economy would shake. Who knew how much money Bai Hanmo's family had? Only with money could one buy things. Only then could one make up for the grievances Ding Ningdi had suffered all these years. When Bai Hanmo saw Ding Ningdi kneeling on the ground, he frowned. He quickly walked over and helped Ding Ningdi up. Ding Ningdi had been kneeling for a long time. Her knees hurt. When Bai Hanmo pulled her up, she fell into Bai Hanmo's arms. Ding Ningdi quickly tried to push Bai Hanmo away. Bai Hanmo's face darkened. He immediately put his arm around Ding Ningdi's waist. Ding Ningdi's face immediately turned red. There were still tears on her face, but she looked shy. Ning Shu was really amazed. Ding's mom was about to lose her temper again. Ning Shu grabbed Ding's mom's hand. Ning Shu looked at the two people who were so close to each other. He said, "I'm your official fiancé. Is it okay for you to hug each other like this?" Ding Ningdi's face turned pale. She quickly pushed Bai Hanmo away. Bai Hanmo's face darkened even more. He said to Ding Ningdi coldly, "Who gave you the courage to push me away?" Ding Ningdi's eyes were filled with tears. They stuck to her eyelashes and wouldn't fall. Ning Shu admired Ding Ningdi. Her complexion was really amazing. She was like a chameleon. She could turn red and white at will. Her tears were crystal clear. Anyone who saw them would be soft-hearted. Seeing Ding Ningdi like this, Bai Hanmo's face darkened even more. He felt sorry for her. He hugged her and put his clothes on her. "What era are we in now? You're still making people kneel. I've really learned something." Bai Hanmo glanced at the Ding family members in the room. "No, it's me." Ding Ningdi tried to explain. "You don't have to explain. I know." Bai Hanmo interrupted Ding Ningdi. Ding Ningdi looked at Ning Shu and Ding's mom timidly. She explained anxiously, "No, it's not what you think." Chapter 1426. Did they threaten you? Bai Hanmo asked Ding Ningdi as he stared coldly at the people in the room. How dare they touch Bai Hanmo's people? Ding Ningdi was extremely anxious. "No, it's really not like that. Listen to me. Alright, I know what's going on with the Ding family." Bai Hanmo's gaze landed on Ning Shu and Ding's mom. "Obviously, they think that you and Ding's mom are the murderers." Ning Shu looked at the two of them expressionlessly. Ding Ningdi tried to explain for a long time, but she didn't say anything useful. "Why don't you say something? If you have something to say, just say it. I'm here today, so no one can do anything to you," Bai Hanmo said domineeringly. Ning Shu wasn't angry at all. "I'm your fiancé. Shouldn't you give me an explanation for this?" "It's always others who give me an explanation. I, Bai Hanmo, never give others an explanation," Bai Hanmo said calmly. Ning Shu slowly lifted the blanket, got out of bed, and put on his shoes. He sat on the edge of the bed and looked at Bai Hanmo and Ding Ningdi. "You're a thief and you're a prostitute. Shouldn't you give me an explanation?" "Xueqing, how can you say that?" Ding Yan was afraid that Bai Hanmo would be angry, so he immediately scolded Ning Shu. Ning Shu felt that Bai Hanmo's awesome identity was simply a boss. It was as if the Bai family was in charge of all the businesses in the world. Everyone else had to kneel down and drink the soup. He was the most awesome person in the world. "What explanation do you want?" "I want to marry the daughter of the Ding family." "Who said that the daughter of the Ding family has to be you?" Bai Hanmo said slowly. Bai Hanmo said to Ding Ningdi, "Did they hit you? Treat them the way they treated you before. I'll back you up. You can do whatever you want." Ding Ningdi shook her head, looking timid. "No, you should leave now. This is our family matter. Let's talk about it later." Bai Hanmo didn't look worried, but when he saw Ding Ningdi's pitiful look, his heart softened. "You're the only one with a soft heart. Others have already bullied you and you still don't fight back. But as my woman, you don't have to be afraid at all. You can do whatever you want." Ding Ningdi still shook her head, as if she was used to being bullied and did not dare to fight back. "Ning Shu, why did these people's love always have to trample on some people in order to appear beautiful and domineering?" Bai Hanmo came to save the damsel in distress and stood up for Ding Ningdi. She could do whatever she wanted. He didn't even explain himself when he cheated on her. Now he even turned around to deal with his fiancée. Ning Shu felt that these two people were a match made in heaven. Bai Hanmo was right because he was strong, and Ding Ningdi was right because he was weak. The whole world's reason was tainted by these two people's reason. It was so annoying. Ning Shu stared at these two people, which made him feel nauseous. "Go. No matter what you do today, these people won't dare to do anything to you," Bai Hanmo said to Ding Ningdi gently. Bai Hanmo's behavior was exactly what a woman wanted. He was cold and ruthless to others, but special to her. "Forget it, don't be like this." Ding Ningdi shook her head and said, biting her lip, looking conflicted and scared. People who didn't know would really think that he had done something to Ding Ningdi. Ning Shu was sure that Ding Ningdi wouldn't do anything. She didn't need to do anything. She just needed to look weak, pitiful, and beautiful. She just needed a man to do everything. Ding's mom was furious. She had never seen such shameless people. The client and Ding's mom hated these two people to the core. Half of it was because of Ding Ningdi, and the other half was because of Bai Hanmo's attitude. Bai Hanmo's attitude was to trample on people. He didn't compensate them at all. Instead, he trampled on them like this. "You're awesome, okay?" The client and Ding's mom were driven out of the Ding family. On the surface, they said that they were vicious and even hurt their sister. In fact, Ding Yen had received Bai Hanmo's hint to give Ding Ningdi's mother a status. Ding's mom took over the identity of Mrs. Ding, so Ding Ningdi's mother was always a mistress, and Ding Ningdi's identity was also an illegitimate daughter. As long as Ding Ningdi's celebrity mother married Ding Yen, Ding Ningdi would no longer be an illegitimate daughter. In front of Bai Hanmo, Ding Ningdi definitely wouldn't directly say that Ding Yen should marry her mother. She would just say that her mother and father loved each other. However, Mrs. Ding took over the position of wife. As long as there was true love, everything was right. Anyway, these people didn't need to do anything other than love. Anyone who offended Ding Ningdi and looked down on her would be slapped in the face in the end. Ding Ningdi went to a banquet and was laughed at by the rich young ladies and young masters. In the end, she would be punished by Bai Hanmo. Ning Shu took a deep breath and waved at Ding Ningdi. "Come here. I have something to say to you." Ding Ningdi's face immediately turned as pale as paper. She clutched her skirt tightly and slowly walked over to Ning Shu. She looked scared but didn't dare to not go over. "Ning Shu, he met a woman who had a boyfriend." Bai Hanmo grabbed Ding Ningdi's arm. "You should go over when I tell you to. Why are you so obedient?" Ding Ningdi let out an imperceptible sigh of relief, which made Bai Hanmo's face darken. He could immediately imagine what kind of life this woman was living in the Ding family. Bai Hanmo made a decision and said to Ding Yen, "I want to marry Ding Ningdi. It's just a marriage between the Bai family and the Ding family. It's fine as long as she's a daughter of the Bai family." Ding Yen glanced at Ning Shu and Ding's mom and nodded. "Okay." Ding Yen agreed. Mrs. Ding was in a daze, and her body was as taut as a broken string. Ning Shu held Ding's mom's hand tightly and didn't let her be impulsive. There was no point in making a scene now. Ding's mom turned to look at Ning Shu with red eyes. Ning Shu shook his head imperceptibly. Ding's mom closed her eyes. Bai Hanmo looked at Ding's mom and the silent Ning Shu and smiled wickedly. He said to Ding Yen, "I'll marry Ding Ningdi soon. Ding Ningdi is my woman now. Whoever touches my woman will be touching the Bai family. Take good care of Ding Ningdi." "Don't worry about that," Ding Yen said immediately. Ding Ningdi's face was as red as the morning sun and she was very shy. Bai Hanmo turned and left. Ding Ningdi followed him to see him off. There were only the three of them left in the house. Ding Yen said to Ding's mom, "Don't worry. I'll find a good husband for Xueqing." Ding's mom opened her eyes and shouted, "Get out!" Ding Yan's face twitched and his expression turned ugly. He felt extremely embarrassed and turned around to leave. He slammed the door shut. As soon as Ding Yan left, Ding's mom grabbed Ning Shu's hand and said to Ning Shu with red eyes, "Xueqing, my daughter, what are you going to do?" "What can I do? I didn't marry a cold-hearted person like Bai Hanmo. Fortunately, I didn't marry him. If something like this happened after I got married, it would be even more troublesome. If something like this happened after they got married, it would be terrible." Chapter 1427. But you should have been the one to marry into the Bai family. The Bai family has a prominent status in the business world. "So what if they have a prominent status?" Ning Shu said. "Mom, things have already happened. We have to make plans for ourselves. Don't worry. I will think of a way. I will not let that illegitimate daughter get away with this." Ding's mom grabbed Ning Shu's hand so hard that it hurt Ning Shu's hand. Ning Shu's expression did not change. "Mom, I will not marry Bai Hanmo. It seems like Bai Hanmo is determined to marry Ding Ningdi. You can't take this lying down. You raised a vicious snake. You have been replaced. What will others think of you? When you're proud, you'll definitely be the icing on the cake. When you're down, who knows how they'll laugh at you behind your back. Shueching, it's all because I'm useless. Mother Ding hugged Ning Shu's waist and buried herself in Ning Shu's arms as she cried. Ning Shu patted Ding's mom's back gently and said calmly, I don't care what others say. We have to prepare a backup plan. Now that Bai Hanmo is going to marry Ding Ningdi, everyone will follow him. If she wants to change her identity, we may be kicked out of the family. Ding's mom raised her head from Ning Shu's arms and wiped her tears. Ning Shu continued, Dad is a businessman. Businessmen value profits. I am also his daughter. But when I was wronged, he did not say a word. He was afraid that he would anger Bai Hanmo and cause the marriage between the Bai family and the Ding family to fail. He did not say a word. He did not hesitate. He may abandon us for the sake of profits. So we have to plan early, Ning Shu said with a serious expression. Ding's mom hesitated. I don't think so. Ning Shu said calmly, Dad has always been partial to Ding Ningdi. If Bai Hanmo asks Dad to marry Ding Ningdi's mother, then there will only be one position for Ding Ningdi. One will have to go up and the other will have to go down. So, we can't take any chances. Mom, can't you let go of Dad? Ning Shu looked into Ding's mom's eyes. If anything happens to us, Dad will definitely stand by and do nothing. Let me think about it. Ding's mom rubbed her temples. Ning Shu was not in a hurry. Even though Ding's mom hated Ding Yen so much right now, she would not be able to give up on Ding Yen. Back then, he could even accept an illegitimate daughter. Now, he was so angry because of his own daughter. Women were always very tolerant of men. Besides, there were too many rich and powerful families. Men had the right to be free and easy. Many people turned a blind eye to it. Go and rest, Ning Shu said to Ding's mom. Ding's mom nodded tiredly. Ning Shu patted Ding's mom's hand and said, When you see Ding Ningdi, don't make things difficult for her. Don't get into a conflict with her. She has Bai Hanmo backing her now. If we use force, we will be at a disadvantage. Can you bear it? Ding's mom looked at Ning Shu. Ning Shu nodded. Of course I can bear it. It's useless to show off now. Okay, I can bear it too, Ding's mom said with a fierce look on her face. Ning Shu smiled. Mom is the best. Ding's mom glared at Ning Shu. How can you still smile at a time like this? Ding's mom was a model wife of a rich and powerful family. She was adorned with jewelry and kept as a mistress. When she had nothing to do, she would go shopping and do facial treatments. Ding's mom patted Ning Shu's head. I will definitely make you happy. Ning Shu nodded. Take your time. There's no rush. After Ding's mom left, Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the bed and began to cultivate. The Bai family had retired Special Forces soldiers as bodyguards. She had to be able to fight. The surrounding fiery yang qi surged into Ning Shu's body. However, Ning Shu found that the laws of nature had a great suppression on his body. In modern times, there was little spirit qi. It was impossible to fly in the sky. Even with the fiery yang qi, it was only slightly faster than absorbing spirit qi. The suppression was still there. Otherwise, they would repel each other. However, Ning Shu was very satisfied. Wisps of heat penetrated his skin and seeped into his muscles and meridians. His body felt warm. He felt very comfortable. Ning Shu cast a spell and decided to set up a fiery yang qi array. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, followed by Ding Ningdi's voice. Sister, can I come in? Ning Shu's hand that was casting a spell paused. He had failed to set up the array. Ding Ningdi, who was outside the door, asked again, Sister, can I come in? I have something to explain to you. The array had failed. Ning Shu cast a spell and his fingers moved quickly. He said, You can't come in. I don't want to talk to you. Elder sister, there are some things that I need to explain to you clearly. Ding Ningdi insisted. Ning Shu said, Are you crazy? I told you that I don't want to see you. Sister, get out. The door fell silent. Ning Shu continued to cultivate. With the fiery yang qi array, the fiery yang qi array increased. The fiery yang qi ray kept pouring into Ning Shu's body. Ning Shu was cultivating when there was an urgent knock on the door. Ning Shu opened his eyes and found that the sky was already dark. It was already evening. "Young mistress, please go downstairs. Something has happened." Auntie Li's voice came from outside the door. Ning Shu hurriedly got out of bed and opened the door. He saw the middle-aged woman, Auntie Li, with an anxious expression. "Young mistress, something has happened to madam." Ning Shu hurried downstairs and saw Ding's mom sitting on the ground. The left side of her face was red. She had been hit. Ning Shu hurried over and helped Ding's mom up. Ding's mom seemed to be in shock. Even when Ning Shu helped her up, her expression was blank. Ding Ningdi grabbed Ding Yan's arm. Ding Yan glared at Ding's mom angrily. "Father, don't be too rash. Auntie is just worried about big sister." Ding Ningdi said carefully to Ding Yan. "She is a selfish woman. She only cares about herself and her daughter. When will you spare a thought for me? Do you know how terrible it is for the Ding family to offend by Hanmo?" Ding Yan roared angrily. He was like an enraged lion. "You only care about your daughter. Have you ever thought about what will happen to the Ding family and the company?" Ding Ningdi was so scared that her pupils were trembling. Her eyes were watery. Ning Shu stood in front of Ding's mom and said coldly to Ding Yan, "No matter what my mother said or did wrong, you shouldn't have hit her. Fighting with a woman shows how capable and awe-inspiring you are. How dare you? I am your father, your father. How dare you talk to me like that? You eat and use my food. What's wrong with making a sacrifice for the Ding family? You are engaged to Bai Hanmo, but now Bai Hanmo doesn't want you. He wants Ding Ningdi. What do you think the Ding family should do?" Ding Yan and Ning Shu roared. Ning Shu wiped the saliva off his face. "Bai Hanmo asked you to lick his shoes. Did you do it?" In order to show how awesome Bai Hanmo was, everyone knelt down and licked him. Chapter 1428. Ding Yan's look of fear and trepidation was even more frightening than a courtier meeting an emperor in ancient times. It was as if he was afraid that if he made Bai Hanmo unhappy, his whole family would be executed. It was true that when Bai Hanmo stomped his feet, the whole world would tremble. Ning Shu glanced at the lovely Ding Ningdi and said to Ding Yan, "In your heart, I'm not a woman, I'm an enemy. If you were as obedient as Ning Dai, I wouldn't be so worried." Ding Yan's chest heaved up and down. Ning Shu sneered. "Dad, who is the cause of this? My fiancé was snatched away, and you blame me for being disobedient and disobedient. I didn't do it on purpose. I was framed. I was drugged by those playboys and accidentally bumped into my brother-in-law. I didn't know it was him at that time. If I knew it was him, Ding Ningdi's face was full of innocence. Tears were about to fall down and stick to her eyelashes, making them crystal clear. Ning Shu clicked his tongue and looked away. He took Ding Mom's hand and prepared to go upstairs. "Dad, Mom's biggest mistake was to treat you as her pillar of support, as the closest person to her. She only spoke to you because she wanted you to seek justice for her daughter," Ning Shu said to Ding Yan. Then Ning Shu and Ding Mom went upstairs. Ding Yan sighed deeply and rubbed the space between his eyebrows. "Dad, let me give you a massage." Ding Ningdi obediently massaged Ding Yan's shoulders. "This is all my fault. If it weren't for me and my brother-in-law, my sister and auntie wouldn't hate you." Ding Ningdi was very sorry. Ding Yan heard his daughter's words and his body stiffened. Then he said, "It's not your fault. Let me tell you something from the bottom of my heart. You are the best person to marry into the Bai family, because Bai Hanmo cares about you." Ding Yan said, "Since ancient times, even heroes could not resist the charms of beautiful women." Ding Ningdi's face was red. She pinched Ding Yan's shoulders and said, "Dad, Mom has been waiting for you. Can you go and see her?" "I know it's wrong, but Mom misses you very much." Ding Ningdi stared at Ding Yan with a pair of watery eyes. Ding Yan was silent. Now that Ding Ningdi was going to marry into the Bai family, it was not bad to see Ding's mother. Ding Yan narrowed his eyes and thought of that female celebrity. She was very charming, especially in bed. "Okay, I'll go see her when I have time. Ding Yen nodded in agreement. Thank you. Thank you. Ding Ning Dai immediately smiled like a flower. Her cheerful appearance could melt a man's heart. Ning Shu saw this scene in the stairwell and went downstairs with heavy steps. The smile on Ding Ningdi's face disappeared immediately. She lowered her head and looked very timid, as if she was afraid of Ning Shu. Ning Shu, hee. Ning Shu went to the fridge to get some ice. Half of Ding's mom's face was swollen. He had to apply the ice to her face. As for the scene of Ding Yen and Ding Ningdi's father-daughter relationship, she saw it all. She also saw the conversation between Ding Yen and Ding Ningdi. Ning Shu took the ice and went upstairs. Ding's mom was sitting on the bed. Ning Shu walked over, put the ice in the gauze, and gently pressed it on Ding's mom's face. Ding's mom hissed in pain. Ning Shu told Ding's mom everything he heard at the stairs. Ding's mom was calm the whole time. Even when she heard that Ding Yen was going to meet the female star, her eyebrows twitched. Ning Shu grabbed Ding's mom's hand and put some spiritual qi into her body. What did you say to Dad? Why did Dad hit you? Ning Shu asked. Ding's mom was silent for a moment and then said, He told you to marry into the Bai family. How is that possible? Ning Shu said speechlessly. I know it's impossible. I said it on purpose to make myself give up, Ding's mom said. I didn't expect him to hit you. We've been married for more than 20 years, and this is the first time I've found your dad to be such a coward. Ding's mom sneered. Ning Shu put the ice in her face again. It's said that one can be strong without desires. Dad is too afraid of losing what he has, but he also wants to suck up to Bai Hanmo too much. Ding's mom grabbed Ning Shu's wrist. What kind of man is a man who can't even protect his wife and child? Xueqing, what do you think we should do? It seems that Ding Yen is going to give up on me, Ding's mom said. We can't leave this house with nothing, Ning Shu said. I heard that Dad is going to meet that female star. To be honest, although they were in the modern world, Ning Shu felt that it was no different from having multiple wives in ancient times. Look at Ding Yen. He was going to meet that female star as if she were his concubine. Ding Ningdi was like a pimp. What happened next was that Ding Yen and that female star were really in love with each other. Ding's mom was a lady from a rich family. There was nothing that she couldn't do. When she heard Ning Shu's words, she started to think. Because of this, Ding's mom and Ding Yen slept in separate rooms. Their relationship as husband and wife was almost exhausted. In fact, since more than 20 years ago, Ding's mom had a thorn in her heart. Another woman came to her door with a child. She held her anger and raised this child, who was an eyesore every day. Now that the child had grown up, she stole her daughter's man, and now she was helping her mother steal her own man. She had really underestimated this delicate woman who cried so easily. Ding's mom had some shares in the company, and she usually had some money in her card. Ning Shu took out his own pocket money and bought the shares of the Ding family's company piecemeal. These things were all done in secret. Ding Ningdi always found an opportunity to talk to Ning Shu, but Ning Shu just ignored her. Even if she apologized, she was showing off. I was wrong, but Bai Hanmo and I are really in love. Please give me your blessings. Or, sister, you should let it go. You will definitely meet someone better. Or, sister, I have nothing since I was young. I know you don't like me, but I have always treated you as my sister in my heart. Or, sister, please forgive me. If you don't forgive me, then I won't marry Bai Hanmo. Ning Shu, you really scared me to death. She was a classic example of pretending to be innocent after taking advantage. She stole someone else's man, and she still had to pinch her nose and grit her teeth to give her blessings. She was like a little white flower fluttering in the wind. She was so angry, but she still looked so innocent and pitiful with tears in her eyes, as if everyone else was a bad person. Everything I did was out of good intentions. How could you treat me like this? I am so lowly and you are so high and mighty. You are so brilliant, and you are still fucking arguing with me. I just want the true love of my life, and you are still so cruel to me. You're heartless and unreasonable. To be honest, any woman who met this kind of woman would turn evil. But men liked it. They looked at her with a pair of admiring eyes that said, "You are my whole world." Men's vanity was unprecedentedly inflated. Chapter 1429. Ning Shu suspected that Ding Ningdi was deliberately provoking her, trying to make her have a conflict with her. If she was so angry that she lost her mind and did something to hurt Ding Ningdi, Bai Hanmo would tear her apart. Ding Ningdi only needed to be delicate and pitiful, acting like a weakling. If she was the one who had asked Ding Ningdi to provoke her again and again, she would have fainted from anger. Therefore, Ning Shu was very suspicious of Ding Ningdi's intention. She had taken advantage of Ding Ningdi, yet she still provoked her like this. Ning Shu did not pay attention to her at all. No matter what Ding Ningdi said, she would not be angry. And she never got close to Ding Ningdi. She kept a distance of 1 meter. And she always turned on the recording. No matter what Ding Ningdi said, she would record it. Seeing Ning Shu like this, Ding Ningdi felt very wronged. She cried and said to Ding Yen, "Sister won't forgive me. I really want to get my sister's forgiveness and blessings." Ding Ningdi was crying so hard that anyone who saw her would be soft-hearted. At the dinner table, Ding Yen directly said to Ning Shu, "You have been sulking for so long. It's time to stop. Ningdi really wants to apologize to you. Look at your cold face." Ning Shu put down his chopsticks and wiped his mouth. "I can't accept that my future man is my brother-in-law. Dad, can you accept that your lover is your sister-in-law?" Ning Shu spread his hands and said. Ding Yan's face looked as if he had eaten shit. "How can you say that?" Ning Shu shook his head. "I didn't say anything. I just can't stand that she has to show off her love after robbing me. I didn't." Ding Ningdi's eyes were wet. "Sister, why do you always think of me as malicious? I never thought of it that way. The things you do make me feel disgusted. You are full of malice." Ning Shu said directly, "You stole something, hid it secretly, and even came out to show off to your master. If you really feel sorry, then don't marry Bai Hanmo if you have the ability. I'll believe your sincerity. What's the use of apologizing? Saying sorry is not a sincere apology. It's better not to disgust each other." Ning Shu stood up. "I'm done." Ning Shu got off the table, and Ding's mom also stood up and went back to her room. "Dad, I'm sorry. I really want my sister to forgive me." Ding Ningdi bit her lips, her face full of guilt. "It's not your problem. It's their problem. Don't take it to heart. They are used to being arrogant and lofty. They don't want to live a rich life without the Ding family." Ning Shu stood at the top of the stairs with his bag and stared at Ding Yan. In Ding Yan's heart, even Ding's mom was dispensable. If he really respected Ding's mom, he would not fool around outside and even have an illegitimate daughter. Ning Shu coughed and decided to have a conversation full of affection. He ignored the awkward expressions on their faces and went out. Ning Shu went to find a private detective and asked 4 detectives to investigate Ding Ningdi's star mother. Ding Yen and Ding Ningdi's mother were still together. No, they had never broken up. Now Ji Lu had already retired and was no longer in the entertainment industry. She lived a happy life with her daughter and Ding Yan's lover. She went shopping and did beauty treatments like a rich woman. It was not that easy for Ding Ningdi to clear her name. Ning Shu gave them a deposit. He needed to know the whereabouts of Ding Ningdi's mother, Ji Lu, and the dirty things between her and Ding Yan. After leaving the private detective agency, Ning Shu went to the pharmacy to buy silver needles. Ding Ningdi provoked her so much because she wanted to make her angry and hurt her. Then he would use the needles to prick her. The wound would not be visible. Since you asked for it, it would be inhumane not to satisfy you. Ning Shu received a call from home. It was from the servant, Auntie Li. Auntie Li said that something big had happened at home. Ding Ningdi had fallen down the stairs and was now in the hospital. Auntie Li told Ning Shu the address. Ning Shu hurried to the hospital. Something really happened when he was not at home. Ding Ningdi was indeed injured as she wished. She was injured in the Ding family. Bai Hanmo said that if Ding Ningdi was hurt in the Ding family and lost a single hair, he would have to bear the consequences. Ning Shu asked the nurse about the ward. When he opened the door, he saw Ding's mom kneeling on the ground. Ding Ningdi was lying on the hospital bed with one leg in a cast. Her face was as pale as a sheet. She seemed to be frightened and her eyes were blank. Bai Hanmo comforted her anxiously. He looked at Ding's mom, who was kneeling on the ground, and his eyes were as sharp as knives. Ning Shu walked over and helped Ding's mom up from the ground. He patted the dust off Ding's mom's knees, making an elder kneel in front of a junior. This has never happened before. Ning Shu glanced at Ding Yen. This coward. I didn't ask her to kneel. Bai Hanmo looked at Ning Shu coldly. Her mistake can't be solved by kneeling. Ning Shu's face was cold. So my mother did something wrong? Oh, so it's my mother's fault that this woman fell down the stairs? Ning Shu looked at Ding Ningdi, who was lying on the hospital bed. Ding Ningdi's face was pale. Even her lips were pale, but she still looked beautiful. There was a kind of woman who, no matter the time, always looked the most beautiful. Ning Shu suspected that Ding Ningdi's every angle was trained by herself. If that was really the case, then the person who asked her to do it did not lose unjustly. In this world, it was either a man or a woman. It was either you conquer me or I conquer you. She could conquer all men's minds with one move. When Ding Ningdi saw Ning Shu looking at her, she shivered. She waved her hand and said anxiously with a red face, Auntie didn't push me down the stairs. No, I was careless. I asked her to kneel down and admit her mistake. Ding Yen said, the evidence is conclusive. In the surveillance video, it was your mother who pushed Ning Dai down the stairs. Ning Shu took a deep breath. It seemed that Ding Ningdi was in front of Ding's mom again. Ning Shu twitched the corner of his mouth. Ding Yen asked Ding's mom to kneel down to the illegitimate daughter, which was to torture Ding's mom's heart. The process of this matter was not important. In the end, it was Ding's mom who pushed Ding Ningdi. I won't let this matter go. No matter how you treated her before, this woman is mine now. You have no right to teach her a lesson. Bai Hanmo looked cold. Ding Ningdi wanted to plead for mercy, but she was interrupted before she could say anything. Don't plead for mercy. You are so stupid. She hurt you like this, but you still don't learn your lesson. Are you out of your mind? Bai Hanmo stared at Ding Ningdi angrily. Ding Ningdi lowered her head and did not speak. Ding Yen said to Bai Hanmo, Child Bai, she is indeed wrong. Please forgive her. I will go back and teach her a lesson. While Ding Yen was talking, Ding's mom, who was next to Ning Shu, was trembling. Ning Shu held her cold hand tightly. Chapter 1430. Earlier, Ding Yen had asked Ding's mom to kneel down and apologize to Ding Ningdi. Now, he was saying something like this. He was pushing all the blame onto Ding's mom. Ding's mom didn't know how she was feeling right now. The two sides had been fighting to the death, and the hatred had accumulated over time. Ning Shu pulled Ding's mom behind him and said, We still don't know what the truth is. Maybe Ding Ningdi fell down on purpose. Get the hell out of here, and I'll believe you, Bai Hanmo said coldly. Who would want to hurt themselves? Get the hell out of here. Ding Shueching, you should find a better excuse. I used to think that you were beautiful, but now, it seems that you are an idiot and a vicious person. Bai Hanmo looked at Ning Shu with disappointment in his eyes. Ning Shu's mouth kept twitching. What the hell? What does it have to do with you? I don't need you to be disappointed. I won't let this go. Wait for my lawyer to come to you. Bai Hanmo's eyes were cold. Otherwise, anyone can bully my girl in the future. Ning Shu looked calm. Okay, you can hire a lawyer. If it is proven that Ding Ningdi fell down on her own, then it will be really embarrassing. The daughter-in-law of the Bai family is a woman who uses despicable means to frame others. Ning Shu sneered. I'm fine, Bai Hanmo. Don't make this a big deal. I'm really fine, Bai Hanmo said. I'm really fine. What are you afraid of? I have your back. No one can hurt you now, Bai Hanmo said domineeringly. As long as you get the hell out of here, I won't pursue the matter. Bai Hanmo pointed at Ning Shu. I'll go, Ding's mom said. Ning Shu froze for a moment before he saw Ding's mom walk out of the ward. Ning Shu glanced at Ding Yen. Ding Yen turned his head to one side and did not say a word. Ning Shu's heart didn't waver in the slightest as he hurriedly followed. Ding's mom was standing on the stairs with a bodyguard in a suit next to her. It was obvious that Bai Hanmo had sent someone to spy on Ding's mom. She wanted to see Ding's mom rolling down the stairs with her own eyes. The bodyguard looked at Ding's mom with disdain. Obviously, he did not believe that Ding's mom would roll down the stairs. Ning Shu grabbed Ding's mom's hand and said, "Mom, you don't have to do this. I have a way. You don't have to do this." Ding's mom looked at the ward and saw that Ding Yen had not come out. She looked disappointed. "Mom." Ning Shu moved closer to Ding's mom's ear and said, "You don't have to roll down the stairs." Ding's mom pushed Ning Shu's hand away and rolled down the stairs decisively. She curled up into a ball. Her forehead had hit the wall and was bruised. Ning Shu hurriedly helped Ding's mom up and said to the bodyguard, who was a little surprised, "Tell your master that my mom has rolled down the stairs." Ning Shu carried Ding's mom on his back and went to find a nurse to bandage her wound. Ding's mom's head was dizzy from hitting the wall. She lay weakly on Ning Shu's back. Ding's mom was really strong-willed. She was deliberately torturing herself. Why bother? If it had been Ning Shu would not have rolled down the stairs himself. Instead, he would have dragged Ding Yen down with him. No, he would have kicked Ding Yen down. Ning Shu put Ding's mom on the bed. The nurse applied some medicine on Ding's mom. Ning Shu said helplessly, "Mom, can we not hurt ourselves? If we want to hurt someone else, we should hurt someone else. You've lived with Dad for so many years. Don't you know what kind of person he is? Why did you test him in this way?" Ding's mom said weakly, "Of course I know your dad won't save me. I've completely given up now. We have to keep that recording until the end." Ning Shu told Ding's mom that she had to be careful when she was alone with Ding Ningdi. "What did she say to make you so angry?" Ning Shu asked. "Even if you roll down the stairs, Bai Hanmo won't let us go." Ding's mom took out her phone. Ning Shu clicked on the recording and heard Ding Ningdi's voice. "Auntie, I want to ask my mom to come to my wedding." Ding Ningdi's voice was full of pleading. Ding's mom refused coldly. "No, the Ding family can't afford to lose face. Are you afraid of my mom?" "I'm afraid that my mom will appear in front of you. I'm afraid that my dad will see my mom." "What a joke. Actually, I've always sympathized with you. Although you're Mrs. Ding, you're a pitiful person who can't even get your husband's love." Ning Shu heard Ding Ningdi scream. Ding's mom must have pushed Ding Ningdi down the stairs. Ning Shu turned off the recording. "Even if Bai Hanmo wants to hire a lawyer, we won't lose. Ding Ningdi deliberately provoked you and instigated you to commit the crime. Why did I have to roll down the stairs?" Ning Shu sent a copy of the recording to his phone. "I'll remember this pain. The more painful it is, the more determined I am," Ding's mom said. "Let's go back." Ning Shu supported Ding's mom. He knew what Ding's mom was talking about. She was talking about Ding Yen. It seemed that Ding's mom had completely given up on Ding Yen. Ning Shu helped Ding's mom into the car and got in the car himself. Ning Shu saw Ding's mom leaning against the seat and comforted her. "Mom, don't be too sad. Actually, very few men are loyal to their family and marriage," Ning Shu said. "Only morality and the law can restrain disloyalty and betrayal." Ding's mom took a deep breath. "For so many years, I've tolerated Ding Ningdi, but he didn't show any gratitude. In return, he treated me with indifference. Mom, you don't have to be so sad. If you understand men, you'll know that all men are the same." Ning Shu turned the steering wheel. "Mom, let's talk about men from the perspective of biological reproduction. Whether it's animals or humans, if a male wants to reproduce the genes he carries with him, he will want to mate with as many females as possible. Through continuous mating and mating with multiple females, he will pass on his genes. This desire to mate and reproduce is an instinct of male animals. So, a man's fickleness is engraved in his bones. Don't be too sad." Ding's mom. "But you're being too absolute. Although your father is not a good man, there are still good men out there," Ding's mom said. Ning Shu nodded. "I know. It's about self-control. Some men are able to control their instincts and become good men. Some people just let go of their inhibitions and let go of their natural instincts. As long as the conditions are right, very few men can control themselves. Ding's mom was not comforted by Ning Shu at all. Instead, she became even more worried. How old are you? How can you be like this? Mom, what I mean is that if you meet a good man, you should cherish him, but don't have too much hope for him. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.